Hello, Shane. Hello, everybody at Constellation Field. Who's ready for Super Splash Day today? Awesome. Well, we're about to get started with that in just a minute, but I have our first winner of the night. This is Emily, and she's already a winner thanks to Aero Plumbing. Emily, you've won that plunger that you're holding so nicely, but that is not all. You see those two big yellow foul poles out there? If any Skeeters player hits a ball off that during the game, you'll be the winner of $500 thanks to Aero Plumbing. All right, it's just about time to get wet. Let's go, Skeeters.
Welcome to Sugar Land, Texas. We're live at Constellation Fields, home of your Sugar Land Skeeters, where tonight your Atlantic League champs come in with a second half record of 4-6. They are 34-46 overall. They will take on the Barnstormers, who are 6-5 here in the second half, 44-36 overall. Skeeters will send out former big leaguer Brett Marshall, 6-4 with a 4.61 ERA against right-hander Brian Evans, 5-3 with a 5.11 ERA, a rematch of Game 1 of this series. The Skeeters come into today's action a full game back. The front-running Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, they are in last, and third place right above them is the Barnstormers. They are a half a game back of the front-running Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Today is game number 82, home game number 43. You can hear all 140 home and road games here on 1560 AM. Hi, I'm Ira Liebman, joined again by Tim Costello, Andy Humphrey later on, Nathan Werner back in the studio. And Tim, when you have a team that's kind of playing kind of a seesaw game, a little hilly up and down. A few nights ago, the Skeeters won 12-3. Then 2 nights ago, they lost 10-0. And then last night, they stormed back with 11-2. Obviously, it's a bit inconsistent, but what do you kind of do to kind of even things out a bit?
I mean, you have to rest on what you're doing well and focus mainly on those things and try and continue to do that well. Obviously, the sticks are there when you get good pitching, and so everything feeds into other parts of the baseball game. So I think you have to take it one at bat at a time, one batter at a time, and just try and keep that winning environment rolling. One of the things that winning teams do so well is keep that clubhouse light and don't let a 10-0 loss affect you, so you can come back and win 11-2 the next day. And so if the atmosphere in that clubhouse, the vibe around the team is strong, then I think down the line you will start to see things even out a little bit more.
Well, this is a very even-keeled team, a very good group here for the Skeeters. But the problem seems to be that after Hale and Nix, they get inconsistent starting pitching. So the other 3 days you're wondering, even a guy like Marshall, who can be really phenomenal at times, and then other times, he is not great on the mound. So when you have 3 guys after that, you don't know what kind of starting you're going to get. And it seems like, one affects the other. If you get bad starting, then the bullpen is obviously taxed more. And the Skeeters starting pitching and bullpen has been kind of that same way. Great starting pitching. One day they don't get good relief. They get great relief. They don't get starting pitching. So you're talking about the hitting feed, and I agree with you. But what do you do when you're getting that inconsistent pitching, whether it's starting or the bullpen?
I mean, that's tough, really. At the end of the day, you have to deal with the 25 or so guys that are on your roster, and so this is your starting 5 when it comes to your rotation. So it's time to go back to basics. Where are your mechanics at? What is the pitch selection you're going after? What's your strategy with these at bats? A lot of these guys have talent. They have great arm stuff. They have good breaking stuff. But how are they attacking hitters? What is your game plan going into the game? Who's doing the scouting reports on some of the opposing hitters? Trying to figure out how to work some of these counts, how to get ahead of them, and maybe that's part of the problem is fastball location, pitch selection. You have to really go back and look at a lot of different things, but you talk about a guy like Brett Marshall, his stuff is as good as anybody else in this league. This is a guy who's been to the major leagues before. He knows how to pitch, and there should be no reason he can't find his strengths here in the Atlantic League for a guy who's been into the major leagues, but every now and then your arm slot isn't where it needs to be, or you get in love with your fastball and you don't trust your curveball for a few months, and these things happen in pitchers' mind. It's a mental game, so it's getting back to basics, doing the things that you know you do well, and trusting your stuff.
Also wanted to talk to you about the relief corps. This is probably the first time in Skeeters history where their back end of their bullpen is not kind of set, and meaning that talk about roles. How important are roles? The Skeeters really don't have a true 7-inning guy, a setup man, and a closer. And especially with a closer, Skeeters have always had somebody they could go to, a go-to guy that can shut you down. But they haven't really had this year. They had Felipe Paulino earlier, but he's been gone for a while now, and nobody has really taken control of that closing role or even the setup role and 7-inning role for that matter.
I'm a big believer in, and you don't need anything defined really besides the closer too much, in my opinion. I think when you have the 9th inning settled, it makes the bullpen feel better. Our job is to get it to, Billy Wagner or whoever it is at that time period. But you don't need a 7th inning. You don't need an 8th inning. It depends on where you are in the lineup. If you have a big power hitter, maybe time to go to the guy who has a good hard-in sinker. Or if you got a bunch of lefties coming up, you want to go to your lefty specialist. So those situations to me aren't as definitive as having that 9th inning guy set and ready to go. That one to me is a big one.
Well, the Skeeters will try to even up this series. They are down 2-3, so a win here, they would get out with a split. Skeeters are 51-48 overall against the Barnstormers in their franchise history. National anthem ready to get underway, so we will duck out when we come back. The starting lineups and the first pitch. It is time to play ball. We'll return to Constellation Field in just a moment.
You see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Welcome back to Constellation Field. Time to take a look at the starting lineup for the visiting Lancaster
Thanks, Shane. Yes, I'm
Barnstormers,
down
brought to
here
you
with
by
Addie
Member Source
and
Credit
Zoe. They're
Union.
ready to
Whether
get
it's a
this
Skeeters
game
checking
going.
account,
Take
an
it away,
auto loan,
girls.
or a home loan, be sure to check out Member Source's complete lineup at membersourcecu.org. Leading off for the Barnstormers is Rico Noel, who will be at second. Batting second is the switch-hitting Trayvon Robinson. He'll be in left. The DH, the switch-hitting Josh Bell, bats third. The cleanup hitter and all-star Sean Halton at first. Cole Garner in right bats fifth. Garrett Weber, the all-star third baseman, bats sixth. Lasting Millage in center. The former big leaguer will bat seventh. Batting eighth, Nate Coronado is the shortstop. And batting ninth, catcher Tyler Clark.
Let's check the defense for the Sugarland Skeeters. Go around the horn. In the infield, third baseman Dave Brian Pounds, Kevin Ahrens playing shortstop. Second base will be Josh Prince, and first base Travis Scott. Left fielder today Derek Miller. Center field is manned by Cole Gillespie, and the right fielder today Joel Benson, with a great head of hair out there in right field. Ira.
Well, the battery of Santiago Nessie behind the dish. Brett Marshall on the hill. When Marshall is on, he keeps his walk total down. In fact, in game one of this series, he was very good in the 7-4 game. He went 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, just 1 run, 2 strikeouts, 3 walks, 95 pitches, 52 for strikes. With that start before, he allowed 5 walks. He leads the Atlantic League in walks with 48. He has struck out 60, allowing 93 hits and 93 2/3. The former big leaguer is 27 years old, 6'1", 195, originally from Highlands, Texas, and a former 6th-round pick of the Yankees in 2008 out of Ross S. Sterling High School in Baytown. Last 3 starts, very good, 1-1 with a 3.68 ERA for Marsh. First pitch by the Skeeters right-hander is a little bit low, 1-0, and we are underway. Game 6, the final game of a 6-game homestand and a 6-game series here against the Barnstormers. The Barnstormers have won 3 of the first 5. This one swung on, popped up. Shallow left center field. Kevin Ahrens going out, and now it's going to be the center fielder Cole Gillespie who brings it down for out number 1. So 1 quick out, 1 out, none on for Trayvon Robinson. 279 for the switch hitter, 5 home runs, 22 RBIs. Robinson, the switch hitter, will bat here from the left side.
Robinson on a 6-game hitting streak right now. Ira really swinging the stick well. 15 for 25 during that time period. Good for a 600 average. He has 1 home run and 4 RBIs over those 6 games.
First pitch here by Marshall to Robinson. This one is a strike on the outside corner. No balls and one strike to count. Umpires for tonight, Reggie Liggins is calling the balls and strikes behind the dish. Ken Langford at first, and Rodney Galloway is at third. The 0-1. This one in the dirt. Robinson will retrieve it himself. He's going to give it to Skeeters catcher Santiago Nessi, but they get a new baseball, so Robinson throws it out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, none on. Top of the first, just underway, no score. Marshall always has a pretty good pace to him, and this one is a little bit high. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Marshall was a All-American in high school. Third time with the Skeeters. Last year he split time between AA Montgomery and the Skeeters. This one is a check swing, but it rolls through the wickets of Santiago Nessi. The appeal, he did not go. Now 3-1. I know they did call that one a strike. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. They'll have to change the scoreboard. Flag's limp in right center, so guys like Robinson batting from the left side could be a good day for left-handed hitters. This one in the dirt. That'll run the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And you know, Ira, one of the goals of broadcasting is always to have the listener feel as if they're at the game. And, you know, today it's Wet n Wild Day, right, out here at the ballpark. So
Super Splash.
Super
in
Splash.
Full effect.
I think if you're home, maybe fill up a little squirt gun, and every now and then just spritz yourself, because that's what's going on at the ballpark here today. Water balloons flying, hoses flowing.
This one swung and fouled to the right side, right before the Skeeters dug out. Yeah, well, if you want, I can have Andy pound you with water balloons.
I was thinking,
that's an easy thing to do.
How about you have your kids run around the house and pelt them with water balloons, and then you feel like you're at the ballpark, and you work on your throwing arm.
Hopefully the folks at home listening here on 1560 AM will do just that. Deacon Jones joining us here in the booth.
Trayvon Robinson taking a quick step out of the box as we get some more baseballs brought out to the mound. Marshall taking a long look in here. Kicks, fires, and delivers. Ground ball hit out to second base, fielded, and flipped over to first in time for out number 2. Very smoothly done that time by Josh Prince. Nobody on, 2 outs, and that will bring up Josh Bell. Bell 4 for 21, 10 strikeouts so far in this series, good for a 190 average. 3 big league seasons for Bell, who was with Baltimore for 2010 and 2011, and then spent time with the Diamondbacks out in Arizona in 2012. First pitch, a breaking ball coming back over that outside corner for strike 1.
Skeeters will try to get out of this with a 1-2-3 inning here. And Marshall would love that first. It has really plagued them in this series, Tim, that first inning or falling behind early, and that's been the downfall. And it's tough when you're not getting great starting pitching and then you fall behind early on top of it. Kind of an uphill battle the whole way. This one is a strike. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here. Bell forced into action after a bunch of signings. Another signing in this series as Vladimir Frias, the all-star shortstop, was signed as well by Arizona. And Marshall thought he had strike 3, as did the infield. Called the ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. No score here, top of the first, between the Skeeters and the Barnstormers. What did you think? Do you think he had him?
I thought he did. I thought all 9 Skeeters collectively took about 3 steps each there, too.
The 2-2 gets the call there, right down the middle for strike 3. First K of the day, and there is 3 away. A 1-2-3 first. Barnstormers do not score here in the top of the first. Skeeters coming to bat for the first time when we return.
Thanks, Shane. Yes, I'm down here with Cameron, and he's ready to take on Swatson in the mascot race. All right, Cameron, go ahead and take your spot at first base. Swatson looking very festive over there, ready at second. All righty, on your mark. Get set, go! They are off and moving fast. Cameron is super fast, round in second. Uh-oh, Swatson, did you think you weren't going to get wet today? Uh-oh, it's going to be a close one, but it looks like Cameron's going to pull through with the win. Congratulations. Back up to you, Shane.
Count an auto loan or a home loan. Be sure to check out MemberSource's complete lineup at membersourcecu.org. Leading off is Joe Benson. He'll be in right. Josh Prince plays second and bats second. Shortstop Kevin Aarons bats third. The cleanup hitter and first baseman Travis Scott. Brian Pounds at third bats fifth. Cole Gillespie in center bats sixth. The DH Wilfredo Rodriguez in the seventh hole. Batting eighth, Derek Miller in left. And catching is Santiago Nessie. No balls and one strike to count here to Benson. Benson comes in at 242 with 3 home runs and 19 RBIs. This one way outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Benson really heating up. Benson hitting .438, going 14 for 32 over his last 8 games. That includes 5 multi-hits and 7 runs scored. Benson last night, in fact, had a home run and a single, 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored. This one in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Skeeters a 17-hit attack last night. Benson with 2 of those hits. That was 1 short of a season high for Sugar Land. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. The right-hander Evans kicks and deals, and this one is swung and fouled into the screen in front of us, 2-2.
Benson did not miss that pitch by much. It was fouled straight back to the screen.
It was all over that. Evans 5-3, a 5.11 ERA. This is his 16th appearance. All starts in 82 2/3. He has allowed 99 hits. He has struck out 80, but only walked 16, so a terrific strikeout to walk ratio. Talking better than 4-1. This one swung and a miss. Chased a high outside fastball, and there is out number 1.
Take a quick opportunity to check the defense here for the Lancaster Barnstormers. Going around the horn behind the dish is Tyler Clark, third baseman Garrett Weber. Shortstop Nate Coronado, second base Rico Noel, first base manned by Sean Halton. Left field is Trey Robinson, center fielder Lastings Millage, the former major leaguer, and right field is Cole Garner.
Well, in steps Josh Prince. Prince hitting well as of late as well. 249, 6 home runs, 33 RBIs. Also closing in on a big milestone, 300 steals. He is at 297. Number 7 takes this one for a strike. 0-1 the count. Also 1 stolen base shy of tying what he did last year. This one swung and a miss. 23 steals this season for Prince. Evans in game 1 of this series in their 7-4 win. He went 5 innings, allowed 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 6 strikeouts, no walks, 80 pitches, 52 for strikes. Got a no decision. They set up way outside the 0-2, high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count.
Evans gets a lot of late movement on that fastball. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it starts right over the plate and then really tails away from these right-handed hitters.
Very good control as well. He has walked just 2 in his last 5 starts. The 1-2. Swung and missed, strike 3. Prince chased the ball low and in as the second straight strikeout to start this game for Evans. As I mentioned, had 6 Ks last time out. The time before that, though, had a season-high 10 Ks.
And you can see why when just watching him pitch, the Skeeters are having trouble finding the ball out of his hand. He doesn't have full extension. It's at a really tough release point where it's coming from. He's almost short-arming it like a catcher would when when he's delivering it, and even watching him here, I thought that might have been a fastball coming out of his hand, but it was a devastating curve.
So 2 outs, none for Kevin Aarons. First pitch to Kevin is a little bit high and outside. Kevin last night with a home run as well. Went 1 for 4 with his 7th home run of the year. A Houston native, 258. 8 home runs, 26 RBIs. Correction, 273. Those were just his Skeeters numbers. Began the season with these Barnstormers. This one swung and hit to third right at Weber. The all-star third baseman flings it across sidearm, and a very quick 1-2-3 inning. So both pitchers, a 1-2-3 first. No score between the Barnstormers and the Skeeters.
Alrighty, Skeeter fans, it's that time of the game. Get up out your seats and jump around. I'm looking for my 2 flyest fans at the ballpark. That means get up out of your seats and jump around. I've got 2 tickets to Urban Air for my flyest fans. I'm looking. I got free passes to Urban Air. Who's jumping around? Alrighty, I think I found my 2 winners. They've been jumping up and down. Congratulations, you guys are going to be the winner thanks to Urban Air. Back up to you, Shane.
I was under the impression you would be in charge of bagels, Ira.
No, as the guest, you bring cake, you bring bagels. You don't invite somebody to your house and then
I
display
brought a marble rye.
A marble rye. All right, I'll give you that. No babka?
All they had was cinnamon. We've already decided you're a chocolate babka kind of guy. I did have a black and white cookie, but I ate the whole thing.
I had a real black and white cookie when I was in New York last. Man, is that thing good. This one is fouled off to the right side. No balls and 1 strike to count on all-star first baseman Sean Halton. 4, 5, and 6 here, mid of the order after Marshall got the Barnstormers 1-2-3 in the first. Halton comes in 256, 16 home runs, and 52 RBIs. It's one a fastball for a strike on the outside corner and quickly ahead. No balls and 2 strikes to count.
Ira, you're a big Seinfeld guy, and I feel like we missed a big Seinfeld opportunity in the first inning. You could say just like Jerry, the Skeeters are even Steven.
This one is low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Throw a 20 out the window, find one in your jacket pocket.
Exactly. That's the way it works in real life.
Lose a gig, get a phone call 2 seconds later.
The 1-2 here by Marshall. They'll set up inside, and this one swung off the fist. Dunker into left field, but going out there is Aarons. Got a good jump on it. Thought that one was going to fall in. There's out number 1.
That was in that no man's territory, but again, you said it perfectly. A great read, a great jump by Aarons, as he was pretty much already in position, and that was actually an even better pitch by Marshall, as he was able to get that ball with movement in on the hands of the right-handed batter.
So 4 straight retired by Marshall to start this one, and I'll bring in Cole Garner. Garner, 190, no home runs, and 4 RBIs. Garner last night 0 for 3 with a walk.
He's got some pop in that bat.
Oh, yes. This one a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike to count.
Former Atlantic League home run leader for a season, 2014. He hit 26 bombs for the Barnstormers.
This one is hit into right field. This one's going to be trouble. This one's going to get into the gap past Joe Benson. Going to be at least a double for Garner. And the first hit of the game for either squad is a double by Cole Garner.
And that was a hit on an absolute rope to the other field. I wasn't sure that one was going to stay in the ballpark, but Benson did a good job hustling after maybe slipping a little bit initially to hold Garner to a double there.
So one out, runner in scoring position, Garner at second. We're bringing the all-star third baseman Garrett Weber, who is hitting an even 300 now. 11 home runs and 35 RBIs, and Weber just a really solid player. Very good defensively and a very good hitter with some pop. Righty-righty matchup from Marshall. First pitch to Weber, fastball for a strike on the inside corner. 89 miles an hour by Marshall.
Weber 4 for 11, good for a 364 average so far here in this series.
And Weber finds himself sixth in the league now in hitting. This one is low and away. No balls and one ball and one strike the count. One out, one on, no score here, top of the second.
Interesting lineup construction here by Lancaster manager Ross Peoples. You have a guy like Josh Bell who might not be swinging as hot as others, and then Halton, Garner, and Weber all swinging good sticks behind him.
The 1-1. This one is swung and fouled right at the plate. One ball and two strikes to count. There is no gray or black clouds, but it's a little bit of an overcast with white puffy clouds, so no rain in the forecast. So this morning game will go on without a drop.
Just a little drop in temperature, which is much appreciated, though.
Yeah, that cloud cover is really helping out a lot. Otherwise, it'd be scalding out there. One ball and two strikes to count here on Weber. See if Marshall can pitch around the runner at second with one away. They're going to set up away, and this one is swung on and sky to right. Benson has it, has that great arm backing up to get some momentum, and he's going to throw a bullet to third. Yesterday, near the line, deep down the right side, he threw a strike without a bounce to third base. So fly out to right is the second out. 2 outs, 1 on. Lastings Millage will step in. Millage 294, no home runs and 29 RBIs for Millage.
6 major league seasons for Lastings. Came up as the youngest player in the NL at the time, 21 years old, in 2006 for the New York Mets. Spent time with Washington, Pittsburgh, and the White Sox as well.
Millage was part of a big trade on June 30th, 2009. The Pirates sent reliever Sean Burnett, who I really thought was going to be a great pitcher, was a starter for a while with the Pirates, along with outfielder Niger Morgan to the Nationals, acquiring Millage and Joel Hanahan. This one is just off the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes to count.
There's a name you haven't heard in a long time, Joel Hanahan, but also he had a very nice major league career for himself as well.
Yes, he did. In his prime, Millage, a speed merchant. 4-1 from the right side of the box to first base. That is flying. This one in the dirt. Nessie came up with it, was about to fire it down to second, but couldn't get a handle on it.
And overall, Ira Milling's a 269 major league hitter, 33 homers, 167 RBIs. Very respectable numbers. And you look, guys hitting 294 right now, still swinging the stick fairly well.
Everybody thinks of Millage as an outfielder, but in his amateur baseball days, he was both a shortstop and a third baseman.
I think you see that a lot, though. In the amateur days, you put your most athletic player at shortstop, and then once you get to the bigs, everybody was a shortstop in Little League.
The 2-0, check swing strike on the outside corner. That's why it's so hard to find a good catcher, because your best athlete's never going to be a catcher. So he's going to play short or third or center or pitcher.
I think it takes, a certain kind of person who wants to play catcher, especially growing up in this part of the country. I know I played catcher growing up, but some of those summer baseball tournaments were brutal.
I'll bet. This one swung and slashed down the right field side. We'll scatter some kids down there.
I still remember the Christmas I got knee savers. I was like, oh my goodness, thank you.
Greatest present ever, huh? That was one of the smarter inventions ever. That's a really, it seems like such a simple thing, but it's so smart to come up with that so you don't have to squat all the way down.
You don't see them in professional league as much, but when you're playing just 2-3 games in 100-degree heat over just the idea of a little padding on those knees.
The 2-2 just misses a little low, just below the knees. That'll run the count full 3-2. I remember when I was doing Division I baseball on Long Island, the catcher would catch both ends. There were Saturday and Sunday doubleheaders, and he would catch both ends of both days. I don't know how he did it. Payoff pitch coming here to Millage. Marshall looks in for the sign, takes a peek at Garner at second, and fires it home. Swung on and popped up into center field. Prince is going to call everybody off and brings it down in shallow center field. So the second baseman for Sugar Land retires Millage, and that'll do it. No runs, one hit, the double by Garner, and one man left on base. We're in the middle of the second. Still no score between the Skeeters and the Barnstormers.
Thanks, Shane. Yes, I'm down here with Wyatt. He's ready to take on the Texas Mattress Makers stolen base race. All right, you see that base all the way out there? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to go down and grab it and bring it back to me. All right, let's put the countdown up on the board, please. In. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! And he is off all the way out there. Let's cheer him on. Make some noise for Wyatt. All right, pick it up and bring it back to me. Run, 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 you got it. Running as fast as he can. You got about 10 seconds. You can do it. Come on. And you're going to be a winner. Congratulations. We're going to send it back up to you, Shane. Good job. Thanks, Shane. Yes, we have some burger buns making their way onto the field. Tonight we have Marcus and Jeremy versus Sean and Kelvin. Here's what we're going to do. The first bun is going to run to the Whataburger sign, lay flat on your back. Then your partner's going to pile those toppings nice and high to build that burger, then jump on top. All right, y'all ready? Set, go. You got to run to that Whataburger sign. There we go. All right, we got one topping down on the first base side, one on the third. Doesn't matter which way you top them, you just got to build that burger. All right, looks pretty even right now. Who's going to get those last toppings? Both teams have the cheese left. Come on, you got to run quick. Make sure you jump on top. Oh, and it's going to be the third base side by just a bit. They're going to be the winner of the Burger Bill, brought to you by Whataburger. Back up to you, Shane.
Welcome back to Constellation Field. Ira Liebman along with Tim Costello. Scoreless game here. Top half of the third inning. Barnstormers will bat 8, 9, and 1 here. Nate Coronado, Tyler Clark, and then back to the top of the order with Rico Noel. Coronado, 538, no home runs and 3 RBIs. Off to a great start with the Barnstormers. And nice job of sportsmanship. Kind of taps the umpire and catcher Santiago Nessi just to kind of say hello. 7 for 13 in his first 5 games here with the Barnstormers. Stands close to the plate. Open stance from the right side of the box. First pitch by Marshall. Check swinging right back to Marshall. Little happy birthday. He waits for Scott to get to first and then throws it over. 1 pitch and 1 out.
And it's good to see Marshall handle that well. Astros gave you an example of how that can go poorly on Sunday when Lance McCullers had a ball just like that. He threw it over the head of the first baseman. So even those little soft tappers, make sure you follow your fundamentals and make a good play.
Yeah, we saw that happen to Chris Tribet here. He grabbed it, then he kind of fumbled it, and then he tried to underhand it quite a distance and threw it over
exactly
the head.
What happened. That's exactly what happened on Sunday. So Marshall making just a nice strike over to first base.
In steps the switch hitting catcher Tyler Clark, and Clark is no Pudge type catcher. He is 6'5", 210, more Joe Mauer type, although Mauer's not really catching much anymore.
He plays the first base pretty much exclusively now.
The 0-1. This one swung and hit out to left field, and now it's going to be over the head of Derek Miller, and those are the toughest plays. The ones hit right at you. He came in and then realized it was over his head, so that'll be a double here for Clark. Probably should have been out number 2.
That's why they tell you always want to go back a step first, and as you said, Miller made the fatal error of coming in on that one. It was a sinking line drive, but also with the sun coming out right now, it probably had a little bit of glare. You see he's got the shades down trying to deal with some sort of glare out there and just couldn't get a good read on the baseball.
So now a runner down at second with 1 away as we go back to the top of the order with Rico Noel. Noel 0 for 1, flew out to center his first time up. 259, a home run, and 15 RBIs for Noel. Has that very straight up and very wide open stance. You don't usually see that combination. Usually if you have a straight up stance, it's like his teammate Sean Halton, where your feet are fairly close together and you don't have any bend in the knees. Derek Miller does the same way. If you have an open stance, you usually have a little bit of a crouch, but he does not. He's got a open stance, a very wide one, and he stands very straight up with no bend in the knees. Pulls that foot forward, and I think that's just a way of him keeping himself back. No balls and 2 strikes to count.
A couple of former major leaguers had stances like that. John Olerud comes to mind, as well as former Yankee Paul O'Neill, very upright, very open as well. Of course, for the left side for both of those guys.
No balls and 2 strikes here to Noel. See if he goes with the slider low and away. No, goes with the fastball, 90 miles an hour. Just missed a little low and away. Pretty good waist pitch there by Marshall. 1-2 the count.
You know what you don't see anymore, Ira, that I wish you still did, was the Olerud helmet at first base. You don't really see that out there anymore, and probably for good reason, but it was a nice look every now and then when Olerud came to town.
The 1-2 is grounded towards short, and that was a gutsy move. by Clark. He took off to third base. Aarons could have spin and thrown to third and probably had him by plenty, but he takes the sure out at first. 6-3 on the putout. Now Clark down to third. Well, Olerud actually had an operation on his head. That was one of the reasons he did that, so really for precautionary measures.
Yeah, some other players who wore it as well at the time. I think it was more of an 80s, 90s little fad, but I think now as well we have hats like Colin McHugh for the Astros has one with a little bit more protection in it. So I think technology, just as with everything, things a little sleeker, not quite as bulky.
I mean, every year you see a pitcher get beaten in the head. I think all pitchers should really wear that. It's not quite a helmet. It's just kind of a hard baseball cap. I mean, it looks like a regular cap, but it's got a lot of protection underneath it. I think it was Tony Saunders when he pitched for the Rays. I saw him get hit in the head on the mat, and the ball bounced into the stands. I'd never seen anything like it. The 0-1. This one way inside as Trayvon Robinson ducks back the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike. Robinson 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. Switch hitter batting here from the left side against the right-hander Marshall, who is looking very sharp here today.
Brushing him back a little bit. Might have been a little bit too close to the plate because he had a really nice backdoor slider with the first pitch.
The 1-1, good off-speed pitch, and Robinson way out in front. That was pitch number 41. He's got 28 strikes and 13 balls, so better than a 2-to-1 strike-to-ball ratio. Very good for Marshall, who, when, like I mentioned, when he's struggling, walks a lot of batters.
You can see why, though, because he attacks with the breaking ball and sets the breaking ball up with the fastball. So if he doesn't have everything going well for him, he throws a lot of breaking balls. It's tough to be accurate that way.
The 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? No. No appeal. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner down at third in Tyler Clark, the catcher for the Barnstormers. No score here in the top of the third. In a morning/afternoon affair. Still morning here. 10 more minutes. More cloud cover again. This one's swung and tough play. Marshall barehands it left side of the mound. Fires it off, bounce to first. Nice play by the Skeeters pitcher. 1-3 on the putout, and that'll do it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a runner stranded at third. Middle of the third. Still scoreless between the Skeeters and the Barnstormers.
Thanks, Shane. Yes, it's going to be boys versus girls tonight for the relay race. All right, my contestants on the far end, you're going to crawl through that tube. Once you crawl through that tube, run down and tag your teammate. Once your teammate gets tagged, they're going to put their head on the bat on the ground, spin around 5 times, get nice and dizzy. Once you do that, you're going to jump on that hoppy ball and race back to the starting line. All righty, ready, set, crawl. All right, let's see who's going to get out first. It looks like the boys are out first, but the girls are right behind them. Spin around. Oh, put the bat on the ground. There you go. All right, jump on that ball. Race all the way to the finish line. The boys look like they have a good lead, but the girls are coming. Keep going. All right, and the boys are going to be our winners today. That means you guys win a free visit to My Just Kids and Ninja Adventures. Congratulations. Back up to you, Shane.
We move to the bottom of the third inning. It'll be 8-9-1 here for the Skeeters. Derek Miller, Santiago Nessi, and Joe Benson. Miller 221, 5 home runs, 28 RBIs, and Derek celebrated a birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, Derek Miller. Miller, as I mentioned, that very straight up stance from the right side of the batter's box. This one is low and away. 1 ball and no strikes to count here to the Skeeters right-hander hitting left fielder. The 1-0 here from Evans. This one swung and caught A line drive to the right of Nate Coronado, and that is out number 1.
Coronado does a nice job of covering ground over there at shortstop. Ira, we saw him almost come up with that line drive last inning, and a good time job, ranging to his right there.
I was very impressed by his arm. He was not playing short, but Vladimir Frias got signed and played short for the first time yesterday. He was really impressive. Going to bring in the Skeeters right-handed hitting catcher, Santiago Nessie. 214, no home runs and 2 RBIs for Nessie. The Skeeters really on this roster technically have 4 catchers: Cordero, Rodriguez, Nessie, and even Travis Scott. So Scott plays more first these days, but began the season playing a bit of catcher. First pitch a ball, 1 ball and no strikes to count here to Nessie. Evans kicks and deals the 1-0, and this one is just off the outside corner. 2 balls and no strikes to count.
You remember the season they had Travis Scott playing some third base? I believe it was 2014, where a big hole at the hot corner. Colby Clemens got some run down at third. Travis Scott played a little bit of third. Michael Rocket played some third.
Yep, Scott even played some outfield. That was not pretty.
They asked Ira, but he couldn't get down there in time. He said, I'm more of a booth guy.
I have what they call at the plate infield fly power. The 2-0. This one swung on and served to center field. Deep to center, but Milledge has a beat on it, and he'll bring it down in front of the warning track for out number 2. So Nessie sends it to the deepest part of the ballpark. 2 outs, none on. Back to the top of the order with Joe Benson, who struck out. His first time up, he's 0 for 1.
Would you call that more of is it a mullet? Is it just hockey hair? What would you call that?
I mean, it looks like a mullet in the cap, but it is not a mullet. It's long all the way around.
Okay. Is it better than Johnny Damon? That's the question right now.
That's longer. This one is swung and missed by Benson. No balls and 1 strike to count.
He needs the Damon beard to go with it.
That was just very grisly looking.
He looked like a completely different human being that next season when he showed up in New York after being a caveman for 3 years.
This one is a strike. Interesting note on Benson. Benson was a star football player at Joliet Catholic High School. Listen to these numbers. He rushed for 2,183 yards one season, 12.4 yards a carry, scored 202 points in his career, including ending his senior season as a nice diving play by Lastings Millage in center for the final out. And I get some more on Benson next time he gets up. A 3-up, 3-down inning for Evans, the second time in the first 3. And we are a third of the way through, end of the 3rd inning, and we're still scoreless in this one.
Thanks, Shane. Yes, I'm down here with Taya, and she's ready to test and see if she's smarter than a Skeeter, brought to you by Fusion Academy. All right, Taya, I'm going to ask you the same question as we asked one of our Skeeters earlier today, and you've got 15 seconds to name as many things as you can. You ready? All right, let's see the question. Name as many fruits as you can in 15 seconds. Ready, go.
Banana, strawberry, grape, blueberry, apple, orange, grapefruit, dragon fruit.
All right, that was very good. I think you got about 8. Let's see. We asked the same question to Albert Cordero. Let's see how many he got. It looks like it's going to be a tie. That means that you both answer the same, but you know, we're going to call you a winner. Back up to you, Shane.
We We move to the top half of the fourth inning in a scoreless contest. No runs on 2 hits for the Barnstormers, no runs on 1 hit for the Skeeters. Neither team has committed an error. 3, 4, and 5 here for Marshall. He will face Josh Bell, Sean Halton, and Cole Garner, so some pretty big boppers coming up here. Switch hitting Bell will bat here from the left side. First pitch is scooped out of the dirt by Santiago Nessie. 1 ball and no strikes to count. And it is getting crazy wet in this ballpark. Hoses, water balloons, it is all coming in full force here on Super Splash Day.
Kind of makes you wish we could do the game in the stands.
If you're into getting electrocuted.
I mean, obviously we'd have to make some technical changes. But
the 1-0. I want to be in a bubble. This one misses as well. So Bell way out in front. 3 balls and no strikes to count. Marshall has not walked a batter today. Let's see if he can avoid it here. Big swing and a miss, 3-1.
So you're saying you want to be a bubble boy?
It's a boy in a bubble.
Marshall looking in for the 3-1, kicks and delivers. And there is the first walk of the ball game as this one's low and inside. Bell jogs down to first base with the free pass.
Bell walks down to first, so 1 on and none out. Sean Halton will step in. I have a guest here in the booth, Jamesy Hennibo, NFL star with my Jets. By the way, I'm a Long Islander, so I'm going to get heavily into that, James. Also with the Patriots, the Ravens, the Lions, and the Bills. And first, talk about what brought you here today.
I got 5. Here we go. So guys, it's awesome to be here. Thank you for letting me jump on with you guys. And,
sure.
I'm one of the owners of Kitty Academy Lakes of Savannah.
Okay.
My wife and I, own the child care, and we're out here with our kids. It's such a great event that you guys put on, for the kids, and so much entertainment and great baseball.
It's not just for the kids, James. You can get wet too.
Yeah,
I noticed you're bone dry, however. You got to lead by example.
Hey, you gotta stay dry. But the kids are loving it. They really are. They're enjoying themselves, and they're actually going to check out the bounce houses now. So it's been a fun day.
1 on, none out, no score here. Top of the fourth inning. Josh Bell down at first. Sean Halton, a 1-1 count here. Marshall kicks and deals, and this one is a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're joined here by former NFL player James Hennibo, and you got a chance to play safety and special teams, a punt return, kick return. What's most difficult, and which positions did you play special team wise?
Yeah,
I know you always have to start on special teams before you work your way into the starting lineup. But
yeah. I mean, I started the first 5 years of my career, and I would say current NFL player. Haven't retired yet.
That's true.
So, I started the first 5 years playing special teams, and was an undrafted free agent. Worked my way into the starting lineup, and had a Pro Bowl caliber season with the Detroit Lions, and last year was with Buffalo Bills. And I know you're a Long Islander, New York Jets fan.
Yep. This one hit out to left field for a base hit around second. Heading for third is Halton, and the throw comes into second. That's going to be a double, putting runners on second and third and no out.
Yeah, but with you're and my guy Rex Ryan.
You played for Ryan twice, then,
yeah,
right?
I played for him twice. Was with him last year in Buffalo. That was a great experience. Season didn't go the way we wanted, not making the playoffs, but still great experience. It's a blessing to play professional ball, and every opportunity, every team that I've been on, even winning a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. It's definitely a blessing. I'll take any of it for granted.
So you talk about that Super Bowl season with the Ravens. You had a chance to learn from probably one of the best safeties to ever play the game, and Reed. Yeah. What was that like to be able to watch a guy who does it as well as him every day and try and emulate some of the practices that he does in his game?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, consistency is the thing with Ed Reed. I mean, the way he studies tape and goes through drills and practice, it makes it easier from the game. That's one of the things that I took from him.
So runners on second and third. This one is blooped into right field. That's going to hang up for Benson. Benson's going to fire it home, and he's going to hold the runner. Nice play by the Skeeters right fielder. 1 out. Runner still on second and third as Garner's retired, but he'll have to face all-star third baseman Garrett Weber. So now I have to ask a Jet from the inside.
Yeah.
I've been a long, loyal Jet fan, and it is like up until last year being a Cub fan. Whatever could go wrong will go wrong. What goes on inside that it seems like every time the Jets have something in place, and you had some good teams when you were there, and you know that was the years when Sanchez was there, and they got to 2 FC title games, but it just seems like everything goes wrong for the Jets inevitably.
You know, one thing that we did well while I was there was we had great veteran leadership. I mean, you had guys like Alan Faneca. We brought in even Brett Favre for a year, and great guy.
This one wild pitch, but stopping it is Santiago Nessie. Nice play by the Skeeters catcher.
Yeah, but great guys, even Lavernius Coles. I mean, great players.
Was Byron Scott?
Bart Scott.
Bart Scott
we had
there?
Bart Scott and LaDainian Tomlinson. I mean, we had great veteran leadership, so that's what kind of helped in terms of the coaching side of it. You had coaches on the field, and I think that's one thing that's lacking from their team now is just the mature aspect. And they're very talented, but talent doesn't always get it done.
How much does having Tom Brady in conference hurt those championship aspirations as well, though?
Yeah. Speaking of which, you played for the Patriots in 2011. Talk about going from the Jets, where everything seems to go wrong all the time, to everything going right. What was it like playing under the great coach and Brady and just really the whole organization?
It was phenomenal experience, excellence all around, and great organizations. It starts from the top, and Robert Kraft, the owner, he's a phenomenal man. Very involved in the team, and it trickles right down through Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and the rest of the team.
The 1-1. What does Belichick do so well as a coach?
He puts pressure on the guys, on us as players, mentally. He understands that if you can, survive meetings at the, what he's asking mentally in the game, it should be easy for you. And he puts us in different situations in practice, which makes us think on our toes, and you have to execute under pressure. You go in the game and you do the same thing.
The 2-1 here by Marshall. This one's swung and hit right to Prince at second, and he's going to tag the runner. That is a huge play by Prince.
What a base running blunder there at second base. There's no reason you get tagged out as not even the lead runner in that situation.
Well, Halton gets tagged out, and he didn't have anywhere to go to third because at third already was Josh Bell, and that is a big second out.
Let me ask you, you played in Detroit with another former Houston Texans safety and Glover Quinn. What was it like working with him on the field? He really cut his teeth here in Houston and went on even some greater success in Detroit with you guys up there in the back end.
Yeah, during our 2-year span, I mean, arguably, statistic-wise, up there with, the Cam Chancellors, Earl Thomases, in terms of top safety duo in the NFL. And it was just, we complemented each other well. Very smart, cerebral player. I mean, he's an all-pro safety for a reason. And, he made my job a lot easier.
This one is grounded towards short. Kevin Aarons misses it. Would have been the third out. A run's going to score as Bell comes down to make it 1-0. And a big error. The Skeeters almost got out of it on a great play by Prince. But now it's 1-0 Barnstormers. It'll be an E6. No RBI. We're still joined here in the booth by current NFL player James Hedibo. In 10 years in the NFL, that's quite a feat.
Yeah, it's truly a blessing. It really is to be able to, as an undrafted, free agent, to be able to play 10 years in the league. It's a testament to, my work ethic and my ability to, what have you done for me lately? Continue to make plays. That's a big thing.
Well, Skeeters won the championship last year. I got my first ring, but what was it like to get a Super Bowl ring? My goodness.
There's nothing like it. I mean, you go each game in the playoffs and it gets bigger and bigger, and your adrenaline's pumping, but one of those things when you win a Super Bowl, you almost pause for a second, like, did this really happen?
This one is hit deep to center field. This is going to get over the head of Cole Gillespie. This is going to get 2 in. Weber's going to score. Here comes Millage. It's going to be a triple for Coronado, and it is 3-0 Barnstormers.
Let me ask, you mentioned you're still kind of waiting for that call for the 2017 season. What's the day-to-day off season like for you, training, getting ready, making sure that it's probably going to be one of those late training camp situations where when you get that call, you got to go in and be ready to make an impact right away. How do you make sure you're prepared and ready to go in those situations?
Yeah, just continue to train, stick to my regiment. As a new business owner, you have to kind of change your schedule a little bit. So my mornings start a little bit earlier. When people are still sleeping, but I get my training in, and then off to the academy to do logistics and make sure the kids and everyone and staff-wise is doing great. And, for everyone listening, come check us out, Kitty Academy Lakes of Savannah. We're in Roche-Sharon, Texas, and our number is 832-569-4847. Come check us out and take a tour of our facility.
Wanted to ask you, I got a chance to go to Cameroon this past offseason. You're from the country next to it, Nigeria, and you're involved in Hope Africa. Talk about that a little bit, what's involved there.
Yeah,
you actually formed that foundation, correct?
Yeah, so we started that in 2008, and what we do is we give scholarships to students of African descent. That's whether you're directly from Africa or you're first generation here. And academically, you perform at a high level, but financially, you just need that assistance. And that's where we come in. And currently, we have 15 kids and I should say young adults in schools across the country, from Yale to Amherst College to Ohio State to Princeton. NYU Law School. Very, we're talking about top tier educations here, and these kids deserve that support. And so that's what we come in and do. And it's a public charity, so all 100% of proceeds that we raise in our events go directly to the kids, and all our staff and everyone is on a volunteer basis.
The 2-2 swung and missed strike 3, and that'll do it, but not before the Barnstormers get 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 big error, and 1 man left on base. Well, James, we appreciate you stopping by. Enjoy the rest of the game, and you're not an athlete today, you're a fan, so enjoy it.
Exactly. Thanks so much for having me, guys, and I appreciate chopping it up a little bit, talking some football, and talking about our academy, and thanks so much.
NFL veteran James Ihedibo back here in a moment. Skeeters down 3-0. We move to the bottom of the 4th inning. Ira Liebman along with Tim Costello. It's nice to have James Ihedibo here.
Absolutely.
We're going to have another guest here in just a second. Well, Skeeters are down 3-0 here. First pitch here to Josh Prince is fouled off. No balls and 1 strike to count. So we're going to switch gears. Switch from baseball to football. And now we're going to do a little bit of baseball, basketball. We're joined here by our media relations guru, Cody Davis. Cody, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
All right. 0-1 the count here to Prince. This one a strike on the inside corner. So we know you're obviously a big baseball guy doing media relations here for the Skeeters, but also a big basketball fan. And kind of talk about those guys who a lot of people don't know who have played both professional basketball and professional baseball. Who was the most surprising to you when you kind of did your research?
Well, right off the bat, the most surprising to me by far possibly was Jackie Robinson.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people just think Jackie Robinson played baseball, and I did too, And, I felt kind of bad I didn't know this, but he actually played basketball. He was part of the UCLA 1940s basketball team.
See, that I knew, but I didn't know that he played pro.
Yeah, he actually did play pro. He played during 1946-1947 basketball season for the Los Angeles Red Devils.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did not know that. Knew he was a three-sport athlete in UCLA. I think he ran track as well, but did not know.
He also led the Pac-10 in scoring, too.
Wow. Prince strikes out here. 1 out, none on for Kevin Aarons. Who else was interesting that you found on that list?
The other person I like is Danny Ainge. You know, a lot of people don't know Danny Ainge also played baseball. Not only did he played baseball and he hit .237 with 6 homers during his time at Syracuse. He played for the Toronto Blue Jays and he hit .220. I mean, it's not too good, but you know, it's decent.
I heard him say something once, and this is why to me baseball will always be king. He said nothing he ever did in the NBA, that includes winning 3 NBA titles with Larry Bird and those Celtics team, equaled the feeling of hitting a home run.
Nah, I don't know about that.
I thought that was a bold statement.
Maybe he was just saying that, but you know.
Look at a world-class athlete like Michael Jordan, who was not exactly quite the baseball player he was the basketball player. I'm with you. Baseball is king. I think hitting a 92-mile-an-hour moving object on a square, hitting it squarely is one of the hardest things you can do.
1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Kevin Aarons, who grounded out the third his first time up. Skeeters are trailing 3-0 here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Who else was intriguing on your list? I'm impressed by this list so far, by the way.
Huh?
I'm impressed by this list so far, by the way.
Oh yeah, you know, I had to do my research before I come on air. The other guy I like is David Winfield. You know him?
Big Dave, yeah. I was a huge Yankee fan growing up. Big Dave's one of my favorite players. He was the only guy ever to draft in 3 sports. So he was drafted in baseball by the Padres, in football, even though he didn't really play football, by the Vikings, and I'm forgetting who drafted him in basketball. The Hawks? Atlanta Hawks? Was that right?
It was the Atlanta Hawks, but at the time it was known as the Utah Stars. It was part of the ABA.
That's right.
Yep, ABA league.
Big Dave was also a pitcher in college. In fact, he pitched the College World Series for University of Minnesota, and he helped them win that game in the College World Series. I think he struck out like 16 guys. He was quite the athlete, Big Dave, at 6'6".
You say in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Yeah, he also won the Big Ten championship in basketball.
Oh, wow. That's pretty unbelievable. 2 national titles. This one swung and slash foul. 2-2 the count here on Kevin Aarons. 1 out, none on. Skeeters trailing 3-0. We're joined here in the booth by Skeeters media relation guru Cody Davis, and keep enlightening us. I'm impressed by this. This is actually pretty fun.
Oh yeah. You know, but since we talking about the Sugarland Skeeters and talking about baseball and basketball, we got to shout out the greatest Skeeter of all time, Tracy McGrady.
Tracy McGrady. There's a little basketball and baseball for you. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, he only played what?
I heard he played a little basketball. Is there any truth to that?
A little basketball. I mean, he's
Hall of Fame basketball
He's going to
player.
the Hall of Fame in a couple weeks.
Well, the Skeeters have their first Hall of Famer. It's just Tracy McGrady.
Yep.
Didn't say it was Baseball Hall of Fame. This one outside,
That's
ball
why he's
4.
the greatest Skeeter of all time, Tracy McGrady.
How about this one, Ari? Your New York Yankee, Aaron Judge. People have this theory online that possibly Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic actually is Aaron Judge in the offseason. They look so much alike.
I think I've seen his face.
They are twins. It is scary that people joke around that in the offseason that Aaron Gordon just wins the slam dunk contest to let people know he still plays basketball. Then he goes and gets ready to hit homers.
It's possible. 1 on and 1 out here for Travis Scott. Yeah, you know, I heard Tracy McGrady talking about his career. He didn't mention the Skeeters during his not acceptance speech. He hasn't gone in yet, but when he was told that he was in.
Speech?
Yeah, I figured he would say, you know, 2-time NBA scoring champ and Skeeters right-handed pitcher.
Man, he was also an All-Star in 2014.
That's right. Started the All-Star game for Sugarland here at Constellation Field as the Skeeters hosted the All-Star. That's right. You've really done your research, my friend.
Oh, yeah, it's Tracy McGrady.
The 0-1. This one swung on and popped up over our heads. No balls and 2 strikes here on Scott. Skeeters are trailing 3-0. 3 runs on, 4 hits for the Barnstormers. No runs on, just 1 hit for the Skeeters here in the bottom of the 4th.
I think the best thing about T-Mac, too, is just on top of him being exceptional at everything he does, he's a phenomenal person as well. I've met him a couple times, and
great
just
guy.
I couldn't be more impressed with someone who's had the success at every level he has, but it's just on a pardon me, on a one-on-one level, the nicest athlete I've ever run into in my life.
The 0-2 outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. He said baseball was actually his first love, but he transferred from one high school to another in Florida. They didn't have a baseball program, so he wasn't able to play in his senior year. So he said when the NBA went on strike a few years back, he was about to pursue baseball, but then they came back, so he couldn't. And then when his career completely ended after China, he came here to play for the Skeeters. And he took it seriously. He was here the whole offseason working out with a pitching coach. This one is popped up to the right side. Sean halted in foul territory. The first baseman squeezes it for the second out on the foul out.
He had good stuff. I mean, I remember being here for his press conference where he gave us a little bit of a workout, kind of showed us his arsenal, and he came in about 84, 85. It wasn't the miles per hour, though. He had great downward movement on a little sinker that he threw. And for a guy who hadn't picked up a baseball in probably 15 years to be able to go at it that hard in one off season and to play as well as he did for the time he did, you got to throw a lot of credit his way.
He said he was very surprised at how much prep there is in baseball. He was saying that he's got to the arena like 45 minutes, just shoot around, and they were ready to go. He was shocked how many hours before baseball players got to the ballpark. This one swung and missed, 0-1.
And I think he did pretty good. I was fortunate enough to watch one of his games online because I was at school during the time, so I wasn't here. But he looked pretty good.
He played well, and I think when you talk about the time it takes, one of the guys I realized I put in more time. It was Travis Scott the season that I was really here all year. He was out for a 7 o'clock game. Travis Scott, you'd see him rolling to the ballpark about 11:30.
Yep.
By about 1 o'clock, him and Josh Presley were on the field taking BP together for about 2 hours most of the time. Get down there, eat some kind of quick meal, shower. Then they're back out taking the actual BP for the team about 5 or 5:30. That's when you realize how much time it takes to be successful.
The 0-1. This one is swung and missed. No balls and 2 strikes. I kidded with Tracy on the air after he came off the mound on an All-Star game and announced his retirement on the air. I said, was it that last road trip was one of the longest road trips I've even been on. It was a 10-game road trip, went to 3 cities. We had a morning game, a doubleheader, an afternoon game. It was a long road trip. I think Tracy had just kind of had his fill for baseball after that one.
No, a lot of bus rides.
The 0-2. This one swollen and a bullet, and that is past the diving shortstop, Nate Coronado, to his left. Around second, hitting for third is Kevin Ahrens. Runners on the corners here. Second hit of the day for the Skeeters, who are trailing 3-0, and they're in business here with 2 down.
There's a lot of trust in Brian Pounds to handle the bat in an 0-2 count and put the hit and run on in that situation. You got to like Gary, showing trust, showing faith in his guys, trying to get a little something going here, down 3-0.
I don't think you have anything to lose. I mean, that's the typical, if the guy gets caught on a swing and a miss, it's the end of the inning anyway. And if it's a ball and he forgets or misses the hit and run side and Aaron should get thrown out, then, Pounds would have gotten a fresh count next inning.
I think we used to talk about in the 2014 season. That was something Gary did a lot. He would send guys on those 0-2 counts. If you get out, okay, you got a fresh count starting the new inning, especially with guys he wanted to have the stick to start the inning off.
Since we're talking about basketball and baseball guys, do y'all remember Michael Jordan playing with the
Of course.
White Sox?
In fact, my old GM when I was in Colorado Springs, this a bullet to second, and that'll do it. It goes down a 4 unassisted line drive, and the Skeeters are stranded. Yeah, and when he was in Birmingham, he played the whole year, and he was kind of starting to get back into the groove, and then NBA came a-calling, and 3 more championships, and that ended his minor league baseball career.
I'd say he made the right call, don't you?
I will end our segment. Cody, thanks a ton for joining us.
I appreciate it, guys.
Skeeters Media Relations, Cody Davis. Skeeters are still down 3-0, middle of the 5th. Back here in just a moment.
Mike's off.
The Sugarland Skeeters are all about fun, family-friendly, affordable entertainment. That's why every Wednesday home game is free to all kids 12 and under at Constellation Field. Kids can have fun all game long with our outfield playground and splash zone while taking in a Skeeters game, and it's all free. Wednesdays are all about the kids at Constellation Field. For information and tickets, call 281-240-HITS or visit sugarlandskeeters.com.
It's quite all right.
The body is powerful. It's also resilient, and every single body is unique. So at Memorial Hermann, our affiliated orthopedic and sports medicine experts provide truly individualized care. We don't simply repair the body, we restore the passion to perform. It's what makes us more than just hospitals. We are a body of experts. Memorial Hermann, advancing health.
The Dan Patrick Show. Dale Earnhardt Jr. joining us in the man cave. Now, let's say you win the championship. Would you consider a John Elway walk-away?
If I won the championship, I'd retire on the stage in Vegas. Hell yeah.
Really?
I mean, wouldn't it be the best way to go out on top?
But it's rare when guys do that.
Mike back in 10. It's rare anybody wins a championship at 43 years old.
The Dan Patrick Show. Mornings from 8 to 10 on SB Nation 1560.
Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We move to the top half of the 5th inning here. Skeeters trailing 3-0. Marshall pitching a gem, but that error really opened the floodgates for 3 runs back last inning in the 4th. Swan and hit to short here. Nice play by Aarons, the throw to first. Will nail the leadoff man Rico Noel. 6-3 on the putout. The second time he is grounded out to short. 1 out, none off for Trayvon Robinson. Robinson is grounded out to second. Hit back to the mound. He's 0 for 2. Came in at 279, 5 home runs, and 22 RBIs. 3 runs on 4 hits, no errors for the Barnstormers. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 error for your Skeeters. Robinson, the switch hitter, batting here from the left side. Marshall kicks and deals. And first pitch, Robinson was going to square to bunt, pulls it back as that one was low and in. Robinson goes, retrieves his own ball.
Caught the bat boy napping that time. The first pitch, he wasn't quite ready.
67 pitches here from Marshall, 42 for strikes. It's a hot day out there. Maybe the ball boy is getting his rest. This one is strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. None on top of the 5th, no score. Excuse me, 3-0 Barnstormers. Marshall gets the sign here from Nessie. Nessie sets up away, and this one high and outside. 2 balls and a strike.
You mentioned Marshall really has pitched well today. That tough luck error really hurting this team right now because he was going to get out of that inning unscathed on a routine ground ball to short. Now 3-0 deficit.
The 2-1, a bullet to short, speaking of which, and Kevin Aarons spears that one for out number 2. So a ground out to Aarons, a line out to Aarons, 2 outs, none on for Josh Bell. Bell has struck out and walked. And that is the only strikeout and walk that Marshall has, both to Bell. 231, a home run, and 1 RBI for Bell. The switch hitter will bat here from the left side. Bell entering his senior year in high school. Bell was a second-team preseason All-American. On July 30th in 2009, the Orioles sent reliever George Sherrill to the Dodgers, acquiring Bell and right-handed pitcher Steve Johnson. First pitch a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. He was then picked up by the Yankees in 2013. And then in 2014, he played in Korea. As this one misses as well. 2 balls and no strikes to count.
You talk about that Korean baseball league. That's where Eric Thames really revitalized his career. And he credits it a lot to the different breaking stuff that he had to be ready for over there at all times.
The 2-0, this one way low and in. In fact, when I was in the Cal League, we had a pitching coach, Marty Demerit, who was a coach over in Korea as well. And you know, they always kind of throw that sidearm or 3/4. He got them to throw over top, and their arms got stronger. They threw harder, and his team led the league in strikeouts. I just want a strike on the outside corner. Bell had thrown the bat away. 3 balls and 1 strike to count.
That's never good to toss the bat away still in at bat as far as getting a favorable strike call from that umpire goes.
Bell is switch hitter, but his left-handed swing is a lot smoother from the right side of the plate. Pitchers pitch him inside with some success. All set up low and away, the 3-1. Swollen and drilled foul down the right side. And a fan reaches over, grabs it with his mitt. That'll run the count full 3-2.
Such an interesting thought process that, you know, for a guy like Bell, you're forever linked with whoever you're traded for. People are always going to compare your 2 statistics. Did it work out? Did it not work out?
Payoff pitch swollen and fouled into the screen in front of us.
It's a lot of pressure to put on some of these guys, young, you know, very early in their career. When you look at, you'll take this Yankees trade, for example, a lot of prospect going to the White Sox, and it's always going to be, when these prospects come up for the White Sox and have, you know, real nice careers, is it going to be worth it that they trade away, the Yankees trade away all these players?
A 3-2. This time it is down low, ball 4. So Marshall has 2 walks and a strikeout, and Bell has all of them.
Yeah, and I think you could talk to almost all these guys on the Skeeters, and probably in this Atlantic League. They've all been traded, you know, in one of these big deals at some part or another. And I'd love to know what their thought process is, you know, because you're not really in the know what the big club is doing all the time. And next thing you know, you get a text message, hey, pack your bags, you're headed to Chattanooga or wherever the other AAA team is.
I've asked some guys about that, and I think some guys are really, they're shocked by it. You know, they've gotten drafted by that organization. They've played 5 or 6 years in the minors, and they think that, you know, they've gone up to A and AA, AAA, and they feel that they're growing with this organization. And then, boom, they're traded. It's very shocking to guys at times. And other guys are not shocked by it. They either hear the rumors or maybe not playing up to the organization's potential, and, you know, they're not surprised by the trade.
I had a friend, not going to name any names, but he was traded to the Astros during the dark ages. And
just want to strike at the knees, 0-1 the count on Halton.
And at the time, he was coming from the Phillies organization. The Phillies were very, very deep. It was during their real big run, and he was one of their, you know, maybe top 20 prospects. He's stuck in high A. He's traded to the Astros, immediately the #1 pitching prospect, and he's moving to AA, and he's the #1 pitcher in the rotation. He was excited for the opportunity of, I'm going to get a faster chance to the big league. So it really depends on where you're going and what the deal is.
This one is down low. One player really surprised me. It was a guy at Advanced A. And I was surprised. He was at the Pirates organization. You figure this one, the Pirates were not very good in the early 2000s. And I figured he would want to stay with the organization because it would be a quick route for him to the big leagues. But he was telling me that he would love to either get picked up by the Yankees. And I thought, but you're being blocked by so many guys in front of you at the big league level, and they're stocked in the minors. And I said, why would you want to do that? He said, because the money is much better on the way up. And I thought, I never really thought of that.
Makes a lot of sense. And, you know, you're stuck in the minors for quite some time. Might as well put some scrap together.
But I was thinking, you know, if you look at the big picture, you get to the big leagues with the Pirates, you're going to make bigger money than you would being trapped in the minors in the Yankee system.
Yes, but also one of the things to think about, the Pirates and some of those other teams, you know, have gone through their tough times. Are they bringing guys up before they're ready? So then you're getting churned through the major league grind. You don't really get a fair opportunity to make it. And you might have a good month of major league money, but you're back down in the minor leagues after that. And then next year you're not on the 40-man roster because they gave you your opportunity. So you're in a lineup that features no relevant major league hitters to protect you. Pitchers come right after you. And you really don't have an opportunity to succeed.
Ball 4 to Halton, so he'll go down to first and second with 2 down, and he's going to get a visit now, Marshall, from Skeeters pitching coach Rafi Montalvo. Pitch is starting to pile up here, and is at 83 now, 48 for strikes. So
I think some civilians are getting involved in the water dumping now, Ira.
Civilians,
I think people who are just in suites are now dumping water on the people below them. It's getting wet out here.
Let's see if Montalvo is just going to try to settle down Marshall here. Marshall with 3 walks in the game. Only had 1 coming into this inning. Back-to-back walks with 2 outs. And whatever he said to Marshall seems to agree with. Maybe just a quick thing he noticed. Marshall has not thrown over 100 pitches in his last 5 starts, so he is really getting close to the end of his night. Or morning/afternoon. We're in the afternoon now. It's amazing. If you're an adult and somebody threw water down, you'd be the maddest guy in the world.
Exactly.
But when the kids get dumped on, even if they're shocked by it, it's the greatest thing ever. So in steps Cole Garner, who has doubled and flying out to right. Skeeters are trailing 3-0 here in the top half of the 5th inning. This one's swung and hit into left field. There's a nice catch by Derek Miller. A sprawling catch diving in front of him. And that took a run and a hit away from Garner. And that will do it here. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 men left on base. We're halfway through, middle of the fifth. It is still the Barnstormers 3 and the Skeeters nothing.
Mics are off.
Skeeters fans, join us this and every Thursday for Thirsty Thursdays at Constellation Field. With $2 beer and soda, you won't go thirsty. Don't miss out on the best Thursday special in Sugarland. Join us every Thursday for Thirsty Thursday. For more information on Skeeters tickets and promotions, call 281-240-HITS or log on to sugarlandskeeters.com.
By creating opportunity, Floor builds communities. Floor Cares is at the heart of our employee volunteerism, where we live and work. We are proud of our commitment. We are proud of our employees. We are dedicated to building our global community. How do you build tomorrow? At Floor, it happens every day.
Trying to plan a fun corporate or family event? Let us help. With our group packages here at Constellation, we have everything you need for fun, friendly, family, affordable entertainment. No matter what size the group, we have options for you, like our picnic plaza with our in-ground pool and even a 2-hour food buffet. The Skeeters can
Mics are back in 10.
all your needs. To plan your event, call us here at 281-240-HITS or log on to sugarlandskeeters.com.
Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We move to the bottom of the fifth. The Skeeters are still trailing 3-0. Ira Liebman along with Tim Costello, and Sugarland will bat Wilfredo Rodriguez against right-hander Brian Evans still on the hill. Bottom of the order here in the bottom of the fifth for Sugarland, Wilfredo Rodriguez, Derek Miller, and Santiago Nessi. First pitch low and in near the feet of the right-hander hitting DH. Rodriguez popped out the short, and he has only trip to the plate this afternoon. 325 overall, 2 home runs and 13 RBIs. So on a strike, an off-speed pitch there by Evans. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Evans now at exactly 60 pitches. 40 of them for strikes. Evans winds and deals the 1-1. This one is high, 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Evans in game 1 of this series threw 80 pitches, 52 for strikes. See what they set up here. And we'll set up outside. The 2-1 is hit to the right side. Wilfredo goes the other way very well. Leaving the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes here.
Is he sniffing the end of that bat?
A lot of guys do to see if the bat's burning.
Okay. Have a little nibbler off the end?
Yep. Yeah, if you hit it just right, you can actually burn the wood of the bat. Ted Williams used to talk about that all the time. The 2-2. This one swung and hit down the left field line. That's going to be a fair ball. Let's see if this gets into the corner. Oh, Robinson's going to cut it off, and big turn by Rodriguez. Great throw by Robinson. Holds Wilfredo to a leadoff single.
That was a fantastic defensive play because Rodriguez is thinking 2 off the bat. He's coming out hard. First base coach weighs him for 2. Actually looks like Michael Nix coaching first base over there today. I think it is.
That is.
So Nix has a good eye on it, and it's just a great play by Robinson, a very strong throw, and Wilfredo had to really hustle back quickly to first base because he might have been picked off.
By the way, 5,347 in attendance here at Constellation Field on a super splash day for the kids. 1 on, none out for Derek Miller. Miller in the top half of this inning. Got the final out on a diving catch coming in from left. Certainly saved at least 1 run.
Nick's serious about his first base coaching duties. He's got the stopwatch out, time in the delivery to home plate, and everything.
If you're going to do it right.
Absolutely.
The 0-1 here to Miller from the right-hander Evans. This one is low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Is a trailing 3-0 here in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Take that into the contract negotiations next year. You say, I give you dominant starting pitching. I give you beyond competent first base coaching. A little flavor in the clubhouse. Valuable piece of the team.
This one is popped up right side. The second baseman Rico Noel all the way towards the right field line behind first. will bring it down for out number 1. And I think the more important he can throw in there is the 40 consecutive scoreless innings, and new Skeeters record.
That was probably the dominant starting pitching, but we could make a little sub note.
There you go.
Skeeters record holder.
Don't go into becoming an agent. I don't think your clients are going to make a lot of money, Tim.
Depends on who my clients are and their talent.
Hey, there are no bad clients, just bad agents.
Having seen some of these reality shows that are out today, I can tell you there are some bad clients out there.
1 on and 1 out here for the catcher, Santiago Nessie, for the Skeeters. He flew out to center his first time up. If you had a faster runner at first, you might be thinking hit and run or maybe a straight steal, but the Skeeters down 3-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. Will probably not run Rodriguez unless it's a hit and run. Check swing, did he go? They appeal, and he did. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think Nessie went.
I thought he did on that one, actually, Ira. Bat came around pretty far. He tried to hold the hips up, and those did stay in place, but that bat really lingered over home plate.
No balls and 1 strike to count here to Nessie. Evans fires the 0-1. This one way inside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Again, the Skeeters are trailing by 3 here in the bottom of the 5th. 3-zip. Skeeters were shut out 2 nights ago, 10-0. 7th time this year they've been shut out. The 1-1. This one is served down the right field line. Cole Gardner on the move, makes a nice running catch towards the right field line. The right fielder hauls it in for out number 2.
I cannot believe he got there off the bat. That looked like it was dropping for sure. And he covered probably about 75, 80 feet over that last second and a half to get to that baseball.
See who is in the big leagues for a few years, has that great combination of speed and power. Speed both at the plate and in the field. So 2 outs, 1 on. We go back to the top of the order with Joe Benson. Benson has struck out and lined out to center. He's 0 for 2. Benson open stance from the right side. Benson 242, 3 home runs, 19 RBIs. One swung and missed. No balls and 1 strike to count here on Benson.
And you really do have to give Evans a lot of credit. He has disguised his pitches so well today. That arm angle, very, very tough to pick up on.
Spoke about Benson last at bat until he had that line drive bullet. Was talking about his high school football career as a running back as he fouls this one down the right side. And mentioned he ran for 2,183 yards and scored 202 points in his career. And final game in the playoffs for him as a senior, he rushed for 363 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Not a bad day.
He actually committed to Purdue to play football on a scholarship, but he was signed by the Twins. And he was a very good player in the Twins minor league system, was the minor league player of the year in 2010. This one low 1 and 2. He hit 259, but he had 31 doubles, 8 triples, 27 home runs, and 62 RBIs, splitting time between AA New Britain, who was an affiliated team at the time, now of course here in the Atlantic League, and Class A Fort Myers. All uses that speed on the base paths. He runs 4 flat to first base from the right side. The 1-2, swung and missed, strike 3, and that will do it. That is the 5th strikeout of the game. Skeeters get a leadoff single, but it goes to waste as Eben gets the next 3 in order. We are through 5 innings of play. It is still the Barnstormers up 3-0.
Mike's off.
This is Morgan Freeman, executive producer of the documentary The C Word, and I'm here to tell you that defeating cancer takes breakthroughs. A breakthrough is the start of something extraordinary. You, the patients, taking part in clinical trials. You, the scientists, doing next-level research to beat cancer. You, the doctors who care for everyone. Let's be the breakthrough.
To learn about screenings and clinical trials, go to standuptocancer.org/breakthrough. Please talk to your healthcare provider about appropriate screenings and clinical trials.
Hi, this is Ira Liebman, voice of the Sugar Land Skeeters. I'm here to tell you about our brand new Skeeters Speakers Bureau. Make your next occasion special by inviting one of our outstanding Skeeters players, coaches, or front office staff as a guest speaker. If you'd like to schedule an appearance for your club meeting, sports banquet, or any other group outing, go online to sugarlandskeeters.com and click on the Speakers Bureau link under the Community tab. Hope to see you soon, and go Skeeters!
Spring-free trampoline. The perfect way to go outside and be active. Your family will enjoy the thrill of a trampoline that keeps them safe and engaged all year long, right in your backyard. Visit us in Katy or online at www.springfree.com.
Mike's back in 10.
Smart in safety, smart in quality, smart in innovation. Spring-free trampoline.
Mike's back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Weber is flying out to right, hit into a fielder's choice and scored a run. This one hits a third baseman Brian Pounds. The toss across in plenty of time, and one pitch, one out here from Marshall.
And for those who are wondering, Ira's probably going to be front and center for country music concert. I know he's a huge, huge country music fan. You should have seen him a couple years ago when we went to the rodeo together. I had to talk about it buying like six different cowboy hats.
Who did we see? Was that Eli Young? Or?
I think we saw Zach Brown, if I remember correctly. We saw Zach Brown band.
I saw Zach Brown, but I don't think I was with you when I saw Zach Brown.
I don't know. I know you tried to buy the 10-gallon hat, and I said, I don't know, Ira.
I was hoping, I was just
I said, you're more of a 5-gallon hat kind of guy.
Well, I was just disappointed that the 10-gallon hat wasn't filled with nachos.
I don't know if you need 10 gallons of nachos.
I do. I sit through a whole concert and a rodeo. I need some snacks.
You were two-stepping in the aisle, if I remember correctly.
And not well. No balls and one strike to count. Lansing's Millage popped out to second and reached on that big error by Kevin Aarons, which is the difference in this game. 3 runs wound up scoring on that E.
Maybe one of the Skeeters fans after the game can give you some two-step lessons at the concert.
I'm good. I think I've mastered it.
Pretty good.
I am master of my domain. This one is a little bit low. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out here. Top of the 6th, Skeeters are trailing 3-0. Take a look at the pitch count here on Marshall, starting to get up there. 88 pitches right now, so this will probably be his last inning. This one fouled over our heads here behind home plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. No action in the Skeeters' pen, shockingly.
Probably let Marshall get through this one. And you'd have to think he's at 88 pitches right now. He said he hasn't been above 100 in his last 5 starts, I think is what you said.
Yep. Marshall kicks, fires. They set up away, and the 2-2 just misses outside. Marshall thought he had strike 3, as did I.
Although the last game you and I worked together, we predicted Nix would come out for like 3 straight innings, and he ended up finishing the game. So
that's right. Was that in the middle, or did that start his consecutive scoreless inning streak?
I think it was like game 2 or game 3 of the streak.
This one is low and away, ball 4. 4th walk of the night here from Marshall. Let's see if they get action in the Skeeters' pen. 1 on and 1 out here for Nate Coronado. Coronado, the difference in this game, had a triple after that error that drove in 2. Make it 3-0, and that's where we are here, top of the 6th. 3-0 Barnstormers over your Skeeters. Coronado came in 7 for 13. Now he is 8 for 15. He was red hot out of the gate since joining the Barnstormers.
On top of swinging a great stick, he's played a very nice shortstop in this game as well.
Yeah, he was terrific. I was really impressed by his arm last night. Glove work not too shabby either. Throw over to first, diving back in his last thing's Millage. Millage, even later in his career, still has speed, so you got to keep an eye on Millage. Millage this season, 10 for 12 in stolen bases, has a big league at first. That's when a strike on the inside corner. Good off-speed pitch there by Marshall.
And you think, because of how long Millage was in the big leagues, and, it was almost 10 years ago they made his debut. It was actually 11 years ago. He's still only 32 years old because he came up as a 21-year-old.
No balls and 1 strike to count. Marshall peeks over his left shoulder. All of the Skeeters right-handers have very good moves, and he's got a crazy long lead at first.
He's really pushing it over there. I think he's maybe a little bit in Marshall's head because he's taking a lot longer from the stretch than he has at any point in the game.
I think he has to throw over there. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Skeeters trailing 3-0 here in the top half of the 6th on a super splash day here for the kids. And there's the throw over there first.
And we do have some action down in that Skeeters pen. Manny Corpus starting to loosen.
Former big league reliever. Came on early the other day in the 5th inning. Usually a late inning guy and closer at times. The 1-1. This one low and away. Nice play by Nessie. Spears it to his right on a backhand. 2 balls and a strike here.
Also some action stirring in the Barnstormers pen as well.
Game an 11:05 start. Closing in on 1 o'clock here. Kids still in full force. This one swung on a slow grounded to the left side. Pounds goes to second for 1. The reel to first in time. Nicely turned by Pounds. It was a slow roller. Didn't know if they had a chance to turn 2. Pounds with that strong arm turns it into a 5-4-3 DP. Unconventional 1-2-3 with the ground out walk and double play. Middle of the 6th. Skeeters down 3-0. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning here. Skeeters need to get the bats moving. They're down 3-0. Josh Prince will try to set the table here. He will lead it off, followed by Kevin Aarons and Travis Scott. Prince has struck out both times up. 2 of the 5 strikeouts that Brian Evans has. He has struck out 5 and walked just 1 and allowed just 3 hits. Prince came in 249, 6 home runs, 33 RBIs. First pitch is just off the outside corner, 1-0 the count. Evans still working quickly out there. The 1-0 is low and away. 2 balls and no strikes to count. The 2-0 here by Evans. This one swung on and skied into left field. Trayvon Robinson is there, just waiting for it to come down, and he brings it down for out number 1. So 1 out, none on for Kevin Aarons. Aarons grounded out to third and walked last time up. He's 0 for 1.
Now batting shortstop, number 4, Kevin Aarons.
Between Aarons and Pounds, I don't know that the Skeeters have ever had 2 Houstonians in the same lineup.
I would say so. And the year that I was here, 2014, full-time, you had Michael Rocket and you had Colby Clements, both of which were native Houstonians.
That's true. Native Sugarlandians. No balls and 1 strike to count.
Trying to think who else was a native Houstonian that year. Aaron Bates, was he from Houston?
No, Cali guy. This one grounded the short, back-ended deep in the hole by Coronado. This is going to be a long throw and inside. What a play!
Oh my
goodness. Coronado.
I did not think there was a chance that he got him on that. But man, what a play!
And he almost ranged towards third to come up with that one, behind the third baseman. Wow.
Aaron's is not happy about that. He should check his pockets because he was just robbed.
That is now 5 straight retired by Evans. 2 outs, none on for Travis Scott, who has popped out to second and fouled out to first. Skeeters trailing 3-0 here in the bottom of the 6th. This one is down low. 1 ball and no strikes to count.
Be a good time for a Travis Scott bomb right here.
Last pitch was pitch number 80 for Evans. The 1-0. This one outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Mentioned last time out he pitched exactly 80 pitches, so see how much longer he stays in here. Pitching well. Scattered just 3 hits over 5 2/3 so far. The 2-0 coming here to Scott. They're going to set up inside, and this one swung and hit right into the screen in front of us. Jam Scott, 2 balls and a strike.
And I really think you saw a big change in Adam Scott's offensive approach in that 2014 season with the Skeeters. Really his first full one. He did a lot of work with Josh Presley that year, opened his stance up a little bit, and I think you've seen him pay the dividends for the past 2 or 3 seasons off that 1 year of getting to work with Josh Presley.
Presley was kind of a mentor to him. This one is high, 3 balls and a strike here.
Started playing a lot more first base that year, came out from behind the plate.
I think that's extended his career a bit. He's got a great 3-1 hitter. Let's see if he is swinging away here. Wind just starting to pick up, unfortunately. This one swung and hit into left field and fairly deep. Going back is Robinson, still going back, is going to retreat, and this ball is gone. Travis Scott goes opposite field, and now the Skeeters just trail 3-1.
Might have been a little forecasting there from your color broadcaster, as I think he said it was a good time for a Scott bomb. So I'm not saying I'm a fortune teller, but got it right that time.
Yeah, we missed that part of the tape. I think we cut out there for a minute.
Did it skip a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit.
That's a shame.
They've been shifting Scott all year, and he's been really working on going the other way. He's actually bunted the other way a few times to beat that shift, but that is the best shift beater in the world when you hit it over the head of the left fielder. And I don't know that I've ever seen Scott hit an opposite field home run here in 5 seasons at Constellation Field, and the hits continue as Pounds dunks this one into left center field for a base hit. And now Pounds is 3 for 3, all singles. This might be telltale signs of the end of the evening or afternoon for Evans. Evans now at 84 pitches.
He was so close to getting out of this one unscathed, and Scott really did a great job going with that pitch. And the wind's maybe working out a touch to left field. I think if anything, it's coming across the diamond just a touch, but not a lot. It was really just a pure muscle shot there by Travis.
Well, Gillespie, who hit his first home run 2 nights ago, could tie it with a long ball here. And how long are you patient with Evans? Because you can make this a different ball game with 1 pitch.
I think this is probably his last hitter if it's me, but I don't see anybody throwing in that bullpen, do you?
Neither do I. The barn is empty.
They had guys up earlier, and okay, here we go.
Now it looks like somebody's going to start throwing. Not in any rush, though. First pitch here to Cole. This one high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes to count.
I mean, he hasn't hit 90 pitches yet, but in Houston, Texas, when you're playing a day game, you can't really judge on pitches alone. A lot of these are, pitches under stress, the temperature, how much is this guy sweating. Fatigue sets in earlier when it's 95 degrees outside.
The 1-0. Much like Marshall, he has not gotten to 100 pitches in each of his last 4 starts, and he's only gotten to 93 once.
Pardon me, 92 degrees is the temperature, but
you are way off color guy.
I didn't get to check the feels like though.
I guess that he felt like 102.
Ugh. So you got to change your shirt just from walking outside.
2 balls and 1 strike to count here to Gillespie, who is 0 for 2. He has struck out and lined out to second. Swung in, hit into left field for a base hit. And I think Evans is out of gas here. A home run and 2 straight singles after getting the first 2 outs. Got to be frustrating if you're a manager. You just wanted to get him through the 6, but now he has to change his mind here. Now they're going to have a catcher run out to the bullpen in the middle of this one, even though somebody's already warming up. Question is, who's he throwing to?
So the Skeeters offense apparently hit the snooze button, showed up about 5 innings a little late, but here we are waking up now and putting some good swings on the ball.
Now Scott Patterson, the pitching coach, is going to come out here. They're going to stall a little bit as a right-hander just began throwing in the bullpen for the Barnstormers. And Skeeters threatening here. They have tying run on and the go-ahead run at the plate.
I don't think there's anybody else he'd rather have up right now than Wilfredo Rodriguez. He is swinging a phenomenal stick, a 325 clip on his season, and he's hitting even better as of late.
Plus, if you want, on the bench, you still have a little bit of pop if you want to bring in Hector Oliveira, if he is available.
And it looks like Jansanti.
Also Jansanti, forgot about Anthony.
Anthony Jansanti available. You mentioned Oliveira.
I'll bring in Rodriguez, who's 1 for 2. He has popped out to short. Singled last time up. Skeeters trailing 3-1, but they're out hitting the Barnstormers now 6-4.
If Rodriguez gets on and loads the bases, I wouldn't mind seeing Jansanti come up here for Miller.
See if we get to that point. Gary might do. The 2-1. This one down the middle for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs, 2 on. Skeeters trailing by 2, 3-1 with a run in here in the 6th.
Just 0-1. They didn't actually reset the scoreboard there yet, Ira.
The scoreboard operator's not been on his game the last 3 nights.
I think he's purposely doing it to you.
Probably. It's a plot. And the plot thickens. The 0-1 is fouled off to our right. No balls and 2 strikes here on Rodriguez.
He said something about you didn't invite him to your Millennium Party, and
I booked Christopher Cross and everything.
He tried to say you didn't have enough chairs. You took some chairs back, and there was this whole balloon situation.
But as we know, there was no year 0, so which makes the party quite lame. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Evans taking a long time out there. 91 pitches now for Brian Evans, and Rodriguez has had enough. He asked for timeout.
That's a smart time call there by Rodriguez. You can tell Evans kind of freezing him out a little bit. Who's going to break first? You knew one of them would call time eventually.
Rodriguez standing very close to the plate right now, even more so than usual. Evans from the stretch, leading off second is Pounds. Gillespie leads off of first. The 0-2. Swung in, hit into right field for a base hit. Let's see if they wave around Pounds. Nope, Gary's going to hold them up, and the bases are going to be loaded here for the Skeeters.
And this is the exact situation we talked about earlier, where I think I personally would either go to Oliveira or Jansanti here.
He's going to let Miller hit, it looks like, as Miller makes his way to the plate.
It's such a tough decision as a manager when we decide I'm going to give a guy a day off. And then you have the opportunity, you're like, ooh, I would really like to have him in the game right here. But I made the decision to give him a day off today. It's a very fine line between letting a guy have his rest or getting him into a game and giving him half a game off.
Well, it could be the turning point in this game. Skeeters with 1 run in here, trailing by a pair 3-1, but they have the bases loaded with 2 outs. Well, in steps Derek Miller. He is 0 for 2. He has lined out to short and popped out to second. And Miller, a very patient hitter, which is not going to be good for Evans right now. See if Miller can take advantage. First pitch here. Swung a hit high in the air to left field. Coming in is Robinson, still coming in, and he's going to bring it down for the final out. But the Skeeters get a run on the home run by Travis Scott. They get 1 run on 4 hits, no errors, and 3 big men left on base. We are 2/3 of the way through. Skeeters pull closer. They're down by 2, 3-1 here to the Barnstormers.
hill for the Sugarland Skeeters is Manny Corpus. So far this season, Corpus has an ERA of 8.71. He's 0-3. He's been in 11 games, 10.1 innings pitched. Home run has not been the problem. It's just been a lot of inconsistent pitching. 7 walks in 10 1/3 innings pitched, and that'll get to you, Ira. Hopefully he can wheel that in here today as Skeeters right back in this one, a 3-1 score.
I think Garrigetti trying to straighten him out by bringing him in early in games, but sometimes that is not good for a guy who's a late inning guy, and it did not work out the other day well for him. Tyler Cork, the first batter he'll face. First pitch, a ball, 1 ball and no strikes to count.
Corpus does, as you mentioned, have some major league experience. He's 6'3", 210 pounds, throws right from Panama.
The 1-0 here from Corpus. This one bunted, and it gets over the screen and almost over here.
That's the trajectory you need.
I know. I've gotten 2 of those in the last couple of nights.
Now I'm starting to realize it may need to be a foul bunt for you to really have an opportunity. I still think fishing net's your best bet.
Well, that's cheating. That's the Brett Dolan way. Got to catch it legit.
So Brett's not listening in today.
No, he's not, believe me. This one is served into center field, and then it's going to hang up. Cole Gillespie charges it. There's out number 1.
That was a well-struck baseball, but a very hard out.
A 1 out, none on here. Top of the order, Rico Noel. Noel is 0 for 3. He has flatted to center and grounded at the short each of the last 2 times up.
I think when you're named Rico Noel, you don't have a choice but to be a baseball player.
Of course. Or something to do with Christmas.
I think that's your after baseball career decision. Then you just become Mr. Noel. But while you're playing, you're Rico.
This one, bunter, the third, pounds up with it, fires it to first. Great play by the Skeeters' third baseman. The former U of H product made that one look easy, and that was not an easy play.
He had a very good jump on that one. He's already about halfway down the line when the bunt was placed down. Really the only reason he had a chance on Noel, because he runs extremely well coming out of that box.
Well, 2 outs, none on here for Trayvon Robinson.
Robinson hasn't had a huge effect offensively, but defensively he's saved probably at least 1, if not 2 runs in this ball game.
Well, in steps the switch hitter. He'll bat here from the left side. Last time out for Corpus, that outing I was talking about, that was 2 nights ago when the Skeeters 10-0 loss. He went 1 inning, allowed 3 runs, all earned on 4 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. And the appearance before that, 2 earned runs. So last couple outings have not been good for Corpus, so hopefully he can straighten things out here starting tonight. They set up away here, the 0-1. This one is a ball?
Just outside. Tried to go for the backdoor slider, it looked like there, and maybe caught the black at most. I'm not sure where that one was.
The 1-1. This one swung and grounded foul back into the left of home. 1-2 the count.
And now where we see the recipient of the bunt foul ball that could have been yours, and probably about a 3 or 4-year-old fan enjoying what might be her first baseball souvenir.
A jip.
We're creating young fans out there, Ira. You'll get your ball one day, but she has a memory of a lifetime.
1 ball and 2 strikes to count here. 2 outs, none on. Skeeters trailing 3-1. The 1-2. Corpus has this one foul back to the backstop. Almost the same spot. A little harder though. 1-2 the count remains.
We were talking earlier about T-Mac retiring mid-game after a great inning. Will you the moment you catch that foul ball, I'm done. End it on a high note.
Well, I'm not gonna retire.
You got a Costanza.
You got
a Costanza the day.
Sure.
Just
on
leave.
a high note. Drop my microphone. And leave it to you.
Have your color analyst bring us home.
The 1-2. Low it in. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I'm gonna go get this ball framed. I've been waiting 10 years for this.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Skeeters down by 2, 3-1 here in the top of the 7th. The 2-2 here by Corpus. Swan in a slow ground to right side. Prince to his left will fling it to first, and that'll do it. 3 up, 3 down. Great job by Corpus. Oh, and it's 7th inning stretch time. Get your peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I do care if you never come back. Skeeters down 3-1. Try to tie it up or take the lead when we get back. Can you hear me? There we go. All right, Skeeter fans, you ready to sing the 7th inning stretch? Come on, kids, help me out. Are you ready to sing the 7th inning stretch? All right, on 3, 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so just root for the Skeeters. If they don't win, it's a shame. Sing it with me, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's go, Skeeters!
Santiago Nessie. Now batting, his number 1 fan is Colin Hetherington. Let's give it up for number 5, Joe Benson. Now batting for your Skeeters, he's hunting, fishing, and loving every day. Number 7, Josh Prince.
Strikeouts and a fly out to right. We are through 7 innings of play. Skeeters still down by a pair at 3-1 here to the Barnstormers.
We got $50 today, so let's see if our season ticket holders are in their seat. Okay, we're going to the first base side. Okay, not section 8. Going to section 7, row K. Seat 1. No one's here. $100 tomorrow.
New pitcher on the mound for the Sugar Land Skeeters is Trey Haley, the 6'4", 215-pound righty from Nacogdoches, Texas. So far this season, Haley is the owner of a 1-1 record with a 2.51 ERA in 29 games. In those 29 games, he's pitched 28 2/3 innings, allowed 27 hits, 8 runs, all of them earned, and walked 21 batters. He's only allowed 1 home run in his 28.2 innings of work.
Haley will try to keep this a 3-1 game. He will pitch to 3, 4, and 5 here in the order. Josh Bell, Sean Holton, and Cole Garner. Skeeters have 3 runs on, the Barnstormers have 3 runs on 4 hits. The Skeeters 1 run on 7. And Tim, I always tend to feel that if you're out hitting the other team by a decent amount, eventually it's going to turn around in your favor.
I agree, but there's one number you didn't mention on there, and it's the error. And that's the one that's really hurting the Skeeters right now, is all 3 of the Lancaster Barnstormers runs were unearned. One came on an error with 2 outs, then following that a 2-run double when the inning would have already been over. So, you know, the hits are one thing, but you got to field the ball.
Haley actually committed to play at Rice coming out of high school. He was drafted. He had a great career in high school. Finished 8-2 in his senior year with a 1.55 ERA. Where the Indians chose him in the second round in 2008.
If you're a young prospect yourself, Ira, where's the cutoff for you getting drafted as far as going to college out of high school or go ahead and go pro? Is there a round where you think, or is everybody a little bit different?
I mean, I think if you go in the top 5 rounds, you really got to think about going. After that, you know, plus, and if the player is the money standpoint at that point, And because you're going to go in the top 5, you're also going to get, full ride if you want to go back to college if things don't work out. In fact, several players here for the Skeeters have done that, go back because their kind of window is about to close and they wouldn't be able to get fully funded for it anymore. I don't know what the length is of that time. I think it's 5 years or something like that. The 1-0. This one swung on and skied to center. Cole Gillespie is there. He'll trot in and bring it down for out number 1.
One of the guys I specifically remember in the middle of the season, Michael Rocket, left us to go back to school when the semester started up back in August. He left mid-season because he wanted to finish that education.
Matt Wright did that as well. Helly at one point threw anywhere from 92 to 100. That's why he was a second-round pick. He said he was actually had it built like fellow East Texas native Clay Buchholz.
I could see that.
So 1 out, none on. In steps Sean Halton. The All-Star is been on base twice today. He has doubled, walked last time up, has also popped out, so he's 1 for 2. Skeeters trailing 3-1 here in the top of the 8th. Don't figure the last few games have been crazy. Skeeters won 2 nights ago by a score of 12-3. And then they got shut out 10-0 the following night. Then they won 11-2 yesterday. And now neither team scoring many runs here today, 3-1. But both starters were terrific in both Evans and Marshall.
They used up their allotment the first few days, it seems like.
They did. The 1-1. This one is down low. 2 balls and a strike. Skeeters head out on the road tomorrow. They will play the York Revolution for 4 games. And they have a day off, a travel day, as they go to Long Island for 3 games. They'll come back here at home starting on July 28th. And they'll play through August 1st. This one fouled off to the right side. Into the corner goes Benson, but I don't think he came up with that.
Umpire still running out. He got it.
Wow. I don't know how you can run around and still see if the guy caught it. My goodness. Benson disappeared behind the grandstand.
Yeah, I got
he
it.
Came up with that.
Yeah, it's him up. It's been in my glove the whole time.
I remember seeing Mr. Brunansky do it with the Red Sox years back. Well, it's an out officially either way. We'll never know.
It's kind of how my mom felt with my brother sometimes. He just come out, yeah, I caught it right here. It's in my glove.
2 outs, none on here for Cole Garner.
We'll never know. Did he eat that chocolate donut or not? We still don't know what happened to that.
Donuts. Garner, 190, no home runs, 4 RBIs, doubled, fly to right, and line out to left. He's 1 for 3. First pitch here is a strike. No balls and 1 strike to count here to Garner. Garner took some lessons from former big leaguer Jay Payton and Coach Renee Latchman when he was in Colorado Springs. For offense, Garner has learned to adjust to how a pitcher is working him in a bat and hits the ball the other way a lot more than he did before he got to AAA. But injuries have been Garner's problem. He has been on the DL 13 times in his career. He has power to all fields, and I've seen him hit a ton over the few years he's been here in the Atlantic League. With the Barnstormers for the 2nd time now. Played for New Britain last year. The 1-1, swung and chopped foul off of 3rd. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count as Haley trying for a 1-2 through inning, and he has 1 strike away. We'll have the middle of the order when we come up here in the bottom of the 8th. Haley from the stretch. They set up away. The 1-2 swung on and missed. Strike 3. A 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and Haley has himself a 1-2-3 inning. And Skeeters pitchers have now retired 7 straight. We are in the middle of the 8th. Skeeters are down by 2, 3-1.
All righty, fans, it is now time for the Momentum Derby race. We've got Gary Gaetti, Swatson, and Deacon Jones. Deacon Jones out to the early lead. Looks like Swatson passed him as they round, taking a left, as they do in racing. It's neck and neck as they round the final turn, as they do in racing. It's a dead heat right now. Oh, but Swatson brings out the punching gloves, and Swatson wins today's Momentum Derby race. The Momentum Derby race, of course, brought to you by Momentum Mini. Visit them at www.momentummini.com. All righty, fans, if you're looking for some water from the Sweets, let me hear you. There's a few of you. Are you ready for the 7th inning stretch? If you're ready for some water, let me hear you. Pretty good.
New pitcher on the hill for the Lancaster Barnstormers. It is Scott Schumann. So far this season for the Barnstormers, Schumann 3-0 with a 2.7 ERA. He's pitched in 34 games, worked 33 1/3 innings in those games. He allowed 29 hits, 10 runs, all of them earned, and no home runs. So the Lancaster relievers doing a good job keeping the ball in the ballpark. Schumann is a 6'3", 205-pound righty from Valdosta, Georgia, and resides in Auburn, Alabama.
Well, they're setting up their bullpen. It'll be Schumann here to try to set up for Anthony Carter. Schumann very good. He touches 96, 97 at times. He's been very good in this series.
It's rare to see that much heat in this league. I remember there's a couple guys who could hit the upper 90s, but they get taken out pretty quickly.
Well, first pitch here by Schumann. There's one, a strike on the outside corner. First pitch there, 92. I know some scouts here were looking at him, but I'm surprised he hasn't been picked up.
Who was the Skeeters closer that got picked up by Colorado? Is it Bregman?
Bergman.
Bergman was bringing some heat.
Yep.
In this exact stadium. He threw 94 about.
Yeah, Skeeters had some 7, 8, and 9. That was the year they won 95 games, set the Atlantic League record, which still stands. They had Roy Corcoran in the 7th, Gary Majeski in the 8th, and Bergman in the 9th. Then when Bergman left, Majeski took over the closer role. And
you had the Undertaker as well.
Yep, he moved into that 7th spot when Corcoran moved into the setup role.
What a bullpen that was.
Yep. The 0-2 here from Schumann. This one swung and missed, strike 3, and that is out number 1.
Talk about the bullpen, though. You can look back at that starting rotation. You had Michael Nix, about 3 years younger, bringing it probably about 2 or 3 miles an hour harder. He was
First
actually
baseman
picked up
number 16
by the White
Travis
Sox
Scott.
organization that year. You had Jason Lane, who got picked up mid-year by the Padres organization, if I remember correctly. Matt Wright had a very, very nice year for them.
Yeah, he got picked up at the All-Star break as well.
I mean, the starting pitching the Skeeters had that year, everybody, Clint Evers came in and had some big starts for them. Everybody who got picked up pitched well for that Skeeters team.
Schumann, an all-star this year. First pitch swung and missed here by Travis Scott, who hit a home run the opposite field last time up. He's also popped out and fouled out. Schumann pitching for the 3rd time in this series. Skeeters banged him up last night in their 11-2 win. He went 1 inning, allowed 4 earned runs on 5 hits, no walks, and 2 Ks. Picked up the win in the previous appearance against the Skeeters. That was in the 7-4 Game 1 win. This one is popped up, backing over our heads out of play, 0-2 the count.
He's bringing some 94, 95 mile-an-hour cheese here to Travis Scott. And I'm pretty sure as well, I've been told by a couple players before that the miles per hour gun runs about 2 or 3 miles per hour slow, so he could be even throwing 95, 96 here.
You say this is one of the more accurate guns in the league. That's pretty close.
Okay, so 95.
Yep. Ooh, scout here the other night told me that Schumann touched 97.
I could see it. He's got a very, Mark Pryor, Steven Strasburg, full extension type of delivery working for him.
He is not a big guy. 6'3" out there. Reminds me a little of who the Yankees just got back, Dave Robertson, who kind of doesn't look like he throws hard, but in the mid-90s.
Similar build as well. Both go high socks.
Yeah, I love that high sock look.
It's a classic look, isn't it?
Robertson looks like a player from the 50s. The 1-2. Check swing, but he went around there, and that is second straight strikeout for Schumann.
As a left-handed hitter, there is nothing you can do about that pitch. That's a slider breaking at your back foot, starting right at your knees, looking like a fastball that you could do something.
Now batting for your Skeeters, third baseman number 15, B. Bounds.
3-1, and between Downing last inning and Schumann this inning, Barnstormers pitching has struck out 4 straight Skeeters hitters, and Brian Pounds comes in having a perfect day. He is 3 for 3 with 3 singles. First pitch here. This one is a strike on the outside corner to Pounds. No balls and 1 strike to count. Pounds 208, 4 home runs and 9 RBIs. But man, has Pounds picked it up lately. Playing no doubles here late in the game. Third baseman Garrett Weber close to the line at third. With the right-hander hitting Pounds up. And this one hit into left field, the bullet, and Robinson's going to haul it in. So a second straight 1-2-3 inning here for the Barnstormers relievers. We are through 8 innings of play. Skeeters still down by 2, 3-1.
Field, Sugarland Skeeters trailing the Lancaster Barnstormers 3-1 here in the top of the 9th inning. New pitcher on the hill for the Skeeters is Mark Haynes. Haynes, a 6'2", 200-pound righty, a Sugarland native. So far this season, Haynes 1-1 with a 2.48 ERA in 30 games. He's worked 29 innings, does have 4 saves on the year. He's allowed 25 hits, 12 runs, only 8 of which are earned, and only 1 home run on the season. Now, Ira told me there's a great nickname involved with this guy. Well, who's got our Haynes on now?
We got the Punisher out there on the mound. Mark Haynes, the former Rice product. He'll pitch to Garrett Weber, last innings Millage, and Nate Coronado. Weber has flat out to right, hit into a fielder's choice and grounded out to third. He's also scored a run. Scored that first run on the error by Aarons.
It's a really underrated walk-in song for a pitcher. Gonna cut you down Hadn't heard that one before, especially for a guy named the Punisher. Pretty fitting.
Yeah, not bad. Well, in steps Weber, the all-star third baseman. Came in hitting an even 311 home runs and 35 RBIs. Big overhand curve for a strike. No balls and 1 strike to count here from Haynes.
That was the old 12-6er right there.
Haynes gets the side here from Nessie. This one is swung and grounded towards third. Pounds cuts in front of Aarons, and the toss across in time, and there's one down. There's now 8 straight restarted by Skeeters pitching. Last things, Millage will step in. Millage has popped out to second, reached on that big error by Aarons, and eventually came around to score on the triple by Coronado, who's on deck and walked last time up. So he's 0 for 2.
How would you feel if you step up to the plate with the Titanic scene playing in the background for you?
Oh, Miller's got a kick out of it. Squares to bunt here, but pulls it back for a strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count.
In minor league baseball, is there a line that you can cross at any point when it comes to that visiting team, or is it just a free-for-all?
No, I've seen it cross with the umpires.
Umpires, yes. So I think I've seen some 3 blind mice situations, stuff like that.
Music guy is getting tossed. Yeah. The 0-1. Knew this umpire in the United League used to say, when I get the scorecard, the ballpark is mine. He told me he wants to throw out both managers, 2 players, the music guy, the PA guy, and the broadcaster.
As a home music guy, if you get tossed out, like, I'm pretty sure you deserve a raise at that point.
The 1-1 here by Haynes. Check swing, but a strike at the knees, 1-2.
The fans probably had a great time at that ball game. That was getting your money's worth.
They got their money's worth on the last homestand as Kevin Baez put on a Billy Martin-esque show and got tossed. Haynes features a fastball, slider, and a splitter. Skeeters trailing 3-1 here. Haynes wants to keep it that way. They have one more crack in the bottom of the 9th. It's one low and in near the feet of Millage, 2-2.
Do you remember the Braves minor league managers video that went viral like 8 or 9 years ago, where he's like army crawling to the mound, gets the rosin bag, tosses it?
Didn't really understand the whole army crawl.
And no one really understood what set him off, but he got his time to shine.
They set up way outside. Haynes kicks, fires, and this one's swung off the fist over our head. Count remains 2-2.
I think generally if you're YouTube famous as a minor league manager, it's not because your team's playing that well.
Probably not. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Barnstormers, 1 run on 7 hits for the Skeeters. Skeeters really their biggest chance in this game. As a missed opportunity, left the bases loaded. We had 2 down in the 6th. This one scooped out of the dirt by Nessie. Now a full count here on Millage. See if the Punisher challenges him with a fastball here. Millage, bit of a crouch from the right side and an open stance. Waggles that bat towards the pitcher. Payoff pitch by the Punisher. Swung and grounded to the left side. Again, it is Pounds. The third baseman's toss across in plenty of time, and there's 2 down. 9 in a row retired by Skeeters pitching between Corpus, Haley, and now Haynes.
Did Millage slip coming out of the box there? Because a guy with his speed on a ball like that, I figured it would have been a closer play at first base.
I was watching Pounds, didn't get a chance to see Millage.
I do have a question, though, Ira. You're very big on nicknames. I think a lot of your listeners have noticed, but it seems you more carry on other people's nicknames they've been given. Have you ever given someone a nickname that's stuck on a broadcast?
Well, what do you mean by stuck?
Other people called him it other than you.
I don't know that I would know, first of all, because if it's, say, an opposing broadcaster, I wouldn't be hearing it.
Well, like, for example, when Haynes comes in to the clubhouse, do people go, "Yo, what's up, Punisher?" Or
well, I got that from them. Sometimes the nicknames come from the clubhouse.
Okay.
The other guys called him the Punisher, so I figured I would follow suit because I liked it.
Like, let's say you nickname someone Kramer, for example, because they're a wacky guy, and then you ever hear anybody in the dugout go like, "Hey, Kramer, what's going on?" or anything like that?
Not yet.
Hey, Cosmo!
I'm Cosmo Kramer. No balls and 2 strikes to count here to Nate Kramer Coronado.
He is wacky.
The 0-2 here by Haynes. Swung and fisted down the right field line. Travis Scott reaches, but that one is foul. Just out of the reach of the Skeeters' first baseman.
Would you rather have a nationally known nickname you gave to someone, or, let's say you had like a minor league player, gets picked back up in affiliated ball, the nickname you gave him stuck, everyone's calling him that nickname, or you get your foul ball?
Well, that's a tough choice. Very tough. I'm gonna go with the sticking nickname.
That's memorable.
0-2 still the count on Coronado. This one's swung, and again, this one to the left side. It's Aaron's, the shortstop this time. He'll throw it to first, and that'll do it. Another great job. Third straight, 3 up, 3 down inning by the Skeeters relievers. They ever started 10 straight, but they are trailing by 2. Last chance for the Skeeters when we get back. They need 2 to tie, 3 to win. They're trailing 3-1. We'll see if they can do it and get the comeback when we come back here in just a moment.
Welcome back in. Bottom of the 9th inning. Last chance for the Sugar Land Skeeters, trailing 3-1. Pardon me. New pitcher on the hill is the closer for the Barnstormers, Anthony Carter. Carter, a 6'4", 215-pound righty from Georgia. Currently lives in Lilburn, Georgia. On the season for Carter, a 3-2 record with a 4.45 ERA. In 33 games, he has 17 saves. He's allowed 16 runs, all of which are earned, and 3 home runs so far this season in his 33 innings of work.
That'll be a save opportunity. Let's see if the Skeeters can spoil that notion. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 here for the Skeeters in the bottom of the 9th, trailing 3-1. Cole Gillespie, Wilfredo Rodriguez, and Derek Miller. Righty-righty matchup to start here for Carter. First pitch is low and away, 1-0. Three runs on 4 hits for the Barnstormers, 1 run on 7 for the Skeeters. This one swung and fouled back into the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Spend some time waiting for the Ham Fighters in the Nippon Professional League in Japan. I always liked that name. The 1-1 swung and smacked out to right center field. Coming in is the right fielder Cole Garner, and he'll bring it down for out number 1, and the Skeeters down to their final 2 outs here. There's now 8 straight retired by Barnstormers pitching. Garner was in the Cubs system as past as 2015. Was in the Rangers system last year. It's a guy that has thrown between 92 and 97. Also features a slider and a changeup. This one is served out to center field, but right at center field, the last thing's Millage, and just like that, they're at 2 down.
I know that was a well-struck out, but one of the things you just like about Rodriguez, he doesn't go up there and get cheated. He gets a good at bat, and he puts at least one good swing out there pretty much every time he's at the plate. He put a good swing on that baseball, just hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark.
Yeah, just 23 years old. A lot of people thought last year he was too young for this league at 22, but he has been terrific.
Still a lot of time in his career for him to get into affiliated baseball as well.
We have a pinch hitter here, and Albert Cordero is going to come on and pinch hit here for Derek Miller. Cordero, one of the Skeeters' other catchers. Trying to keep it going here. All you need is that bloop and a blast. The Skeeters need a base runner, though. Carter looks in for the sign here. They're going to set up on the outside corner to the switch hitting Cordero, batting here from the left side. This one low and in. Missed the target by a lot, 1-0.
Cordero's just 6 for 41 over his last 10 games. He's a career 244. We have 25 homers and 178 178 RBIs in his minor league career.
This one swung and caught by Carter, and that's the game. A bullet. Looked like it was ticketed to center field. The pitcher brings it down. Skeeters go down the last 10 batters in order. 3 straight 1-2-3 innings to end it as the Skeeters lose today and lose this series 2-4. Final numbers look like this: 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Barnstormers, 1 run, 7 hits